I'm gonna wait till it says we're live on YouTube before I do it.
Hello, everybody. I don't know if you're going to be able to hear this or not. We are trying to go live, and we seem to have had a false start. But here we are, hopefully, making it happen. Oh, looks like we're on. Let's go. All right, perfect. Hello, everybody. Hello, our dumplings. How are we doing? All right.
Oh, yeah.
I like the dumplings.
I have to mute us. Oh, shut the fuck up. There we go.
Yes, mute.
Sorry.
I have YouTube muted over on my end, and it's lovely. But yes, welcome everybody. How we doing? So this is Hot Soup episode 3, everybody. We're doing it. So my name is Graham. I go by Hambox42 on the internet, and this is Brujaja.
Hi, I'm B. What's up? How's it going?
All right. And it looks like we're sitting next to each other, but we're like hundreds of miles apart. But anyway, the magic of television, as they say.
By the quality of my camera versus the quality of yours.
I don't know what you're talking about. And I don't know why, for some reason, if my hand goes this far over, it just ceases to exist.
It's so weird.
I know, it's crazy, right? Anyway. But yes, so welcome everybody. We are going to be talking Commander today. Ixalan just recently came out, so if you are enjoying dinosaur shenanigans, I know I definitely am in draft and standard, primarily. But we can talk about what it means for Commander, what cards we're excited about for our various and sundry decks. And then we also have kind of a new segment that we're doing, which I think is going to be a ton of fun and take up, like, it's funny because at first, when we first kind of discussed the idea, it was just this, like, wouldn't it be funny if, like, we spent, like, 5 minutes to talk about, like, some things that would be kind of cool.
This always happens. We come up with a joke.
And then the joke kind of gets a life of its own.
Commit to the bit shall be the name of the law.
Yes, we are committing to the bit. No, 100%. And that bit is Universes Beyond. So at this point, we know that, like, we have Universes Beyond for absolutely everything. You know, we've done D&D, we've done Lord of the Rings, we're doing Fallout, we got
Final Fantasy.
We got Final Fantasy coming up. There's a
Assassin's
thing with Marvel,
Creed.
Whatever that
Assassin's Creed's a weird one to me, but
Assassin's Creed is bizarre because that one, it's just like,
yeah.
There's so many of these other franchises.
I hate to say this, but I was like, that game's still relevant.
I know, right? I kind of had the same thought, to be honest.
I'm like, COD would have been.
And it's still out there. It feels similar to Call of Duty, right? Where it's like, yeah, I know they're coming out with new Assassin's Creed games repeatedly, right? Like, it's just a thing that exists out there in the world.
Yeah.
But I kind of felt like Assassin's Creed is fun if you want to run around a historical setting and slice at people.
Yeah.
In an Ubisoft sandbox kind of thing. And, like, if that's your jam, sweet. This franchise is here doing exactly that. And I always thought the draw there was the gameplay, not, like, the lore and the characters. You know? And
there is, in fact, a campaign mode.
There's a campaign mode?
In COD? No one's ever played it.
Oh, in COD. Oh, yeah. Rumor has it that's the thing. Yeah, but yeah, it's just like Call of Duty. Like, you know, it's like, what Call of Duty are they on right now? I don't freaking know. I don't freaking care. Like, it's just like, if I want to go shoot some people in a multiplayer environment, Call of Duty is a place I can do that. Great.
I saw a tweet recently that said, I'm probably not going to play the story mode in the new COD, so how's the zombies and multiplayer?
Like, you mean the game? Like, yeah, I love it when every now and then when people are like, could you believe the new X shooter franchise doesn't have a campaign mode? It's like, wait, it did before this installment? Like, oh,
wait a minute.
Why was that a thing? As somebody who did play through the Halo campaigns, through Halos 1, 2, and 3, I can tell you, not worth your time. That is not why that is a franchise. But in any event, when it comes to the Universes Beyond, you would think when you are taking a property and you are translating it into Magic, the gameplay is going to be Magic, right? And so presumably you want to take properties that have fun lore, fun characters, fun settings that are going to resonate and really, you know, be the point.
The cards tell the story. The cards tell the story, exactly. That flavor has to be so important. And not just important in presentation aesthetically, but of course, important in actual mechanical flavor. Things that relate directly to the universe, to the characters, to everything. That's not really an easy thing to do.
No.
In my opinion.
Agreed. It's not. And so far, like, we saw it with, like, the Doctor Who set specifically. I feel like they nailed it. Like, they hit all the right beats. Yeah. And they got Doctor Who fans excited to play Magic. And as a Magic fan who hasn't watched Doctor Who in a long time, It got me genuinely interested to maybe pick that up and see what's been going on that side of things. Honestly, when I saw dinosaurs on a spaceship, I was like, I have not seen that episode, but I need to know more.
Yeah.
Like, I just do. Like, I need content.
I've never watched Doctor Who, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna start.
It's fun. I can see why people like it.
It's very cute, and I've been watching and legitimately am enjoying it. I'm like, I get it. This is adorable. I get it.
Yeah. Doctor Who's one of those franchises that I think is actually just a lot of fun. I can see why people really get into it, but it's also perfect. Like, there is deep lore there, but you don't have to enjoy. Like, you don't have to go deep to enjoy like one-off episodes here and there. Like, it's well done in that regard, right? And it makes for a good TV show in that regard. And I also think that makes for a great Universes Beyond, because it has a lot of moments, it has a lot of unique themes and elements and characters that are consistent throughout that can be represented on Magic cards. And then nerds get to debate whether or not they got it right until the heat death of the universe. But
So speaking of good TV shows that could be made into Universes and Beyond.
So we were thinking, what if we made our own Universes Beyond? And where would we want to start? And I believe I can take credit for this.
Sorry,
I believe it started because you said something like it was a very innocuous DM where it was like, hey, do we want to like, I think it was actually, we were discussing doing the show weekly instead of every other week or something.
Yeah.
And I said, hell yeah, fuck yeah. That's my response. And I used a GIF from Shorzy, which is the spin-off of Letterkenny. And that just started a whole thing. And that was the beginning of the end.
I don't even know who made the joke, but it doesn't matter. I got so carried away making these. I made so many.
So, yes, what was...
But we gotta go through the set.
We have to go through... So we've made a set of... or a secret layer, if you will, of... between the two of us. And I came up with 4 or 5, and it was like, I think I went a little overboard. And then I got the DM dumped. Oh, all right.
Dude, I checked the cardsmith, and it's something like... It's like 15 cards.
I love it. Oh, my goodness. Because the thing about Letterkenny, if you're not familiar, it is a Canadian, like, comedy TV show about this small town in, I want to say, is it Winnipeg? Ontario.
I'm not even sure.
I don't know my geography.
6 hours from
and
Quebec?
It's something like that. And the show is, anyway, about this little town called Letterkenny, of which there are about 5,000 people, and the show is about their problems. And it's all kinds of silliness, and they have a ton of like catchphrases and taglines that are repeated constantly. Now that I think about it, I don't think we have a card about To Be Fair. That's another one that we're missing.
Oh no! Don't tell me that! I'm about to jump on cards! What the hell is wrong with you? I told you I was getting carried away.
But anyway, we were both fans, and so we decided that we were gonna make a whole bunch of ones. And I gotta say, I have a favorite, which I have a favorite because the theme is just entirely too good, and so why not start there?
Okay.
Because I
don't even know which one it is.
I know, right? No, you sure
we
don't.
didn't talk about this.
Nope, we did not. This is unscripted.
Oh, the name of our stream is wrong.
Okay. But the one that I absolutely adore is fucking embarrassing. So Coach is this character that you see throughout the course of the show. He's a hockey coach, and I'm trying to think. He has a name, I think, but I don't think they ever. I don't know. He's just Coach. But in any event, his thing is that he's always talking to the players. He's always trying to give pep talks. And at the end of every game or during the middle of a game, he's always pissed. And that's his catchphrase is just, it was fucking embarrassing. And then he usually kicks something, like knocking stuff over. He's just an absolute rage.
Usually a garbage can.
Usually a garbage can. Exactly. The garbage can getting kicked is a very common theme. And so, Brujaja built this card. And I love the concept. All right, so it's a counterspell, right? It's a hybrid blue-red. Red had to be represented. So it's hybrid blue-red, hybrid blue-red. Counter target spell. If an opponent attacked but did not deal combat damage to a player this turn, you may cast fucking embarrassing without paying its mana cost. The idea that it is a free counter spell if your opponent has fucked up is the greatest flavor. I love it so much.
So I have a friend who's a CEDH player, and I showed her this, and she was like, oh my god, a free counter spell in red? Are you kidding me? I was like, yeah.
The fact that you can cast it for red is probably an issue. To be fair,
I thought it was appropriate because the counterspell color is blue. Let's be real. That's the counterspell color. Yeah. But his personality between shut it down and super rage says is that to me.
He's a very emotional character, so no, red totally fits. Yeah, absolutely.
And like he swings from so angry to like constantly crying about Barb.
Oh, Barb. Yeah. I love this guy. I think with every rewatch, I like him a little bit more. He might be my favorite character, and so I thought this was a great way to just capture.
I also have to give a shout out to my friend Keon, who suggested it was without mana cost.
Right? Yeah. Well,
so I can't take full credit for it. I came up with the name, and it was originally just a counterspell for red, and he was like, "But what ifs?" Yeah. The mechanical flavor did not cover me. I have to give credit to my friend Keon, but like it's
brilliant.
Good.
Nailed it. Friggin' nailed it. Yeah, no, I love that one, and it makes me very happy.
There we go. Sorry.
No worries. Yeah. And now where do we go from here? Do we just go across and just keep cruising?
Go nuts. I don't know. You've got the folder.
I do. Haha. I have control.
You're handling OBS. I'm just handling chat.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. And Shug, what up?
Hey.
So I was recently. It's funny. I was actually in the middle of a rewatch of Letterkenny, which is why the hell yeah, fuck yeah came to mind. Because between Shoresy season 2 coming out not too long ago, and
I still have to watch it.
It's actually quite fun. I enjoy it. The jokes per minute in season 2 is not as high as season 1, but I think it's still quality. But anyway, I was in the middle of a rewatch, and I hit the episode where Dax and Ron got married. Spoiler warning for those ancillary characters. Yeah, that whole thing. And so I decided that I needed to do a card celebrating the refrain, "We don't fight at weddings."
Absolutely.
And I gotta say, I appreciate this design. It's a bad card.
It's so good though.
It's a terrible card. So we're familiar with fog, right? The idea that like, okay, damage is prevented, goes well with fucking embarrassing. Just saying. Now, this one though, we don't fight at weddings. It is preemptive. You play this in the pre-combat main phase. Creatures can't attack this turn. And so you're fogging.
I think it's great.
Like, it could be good, right? And if your opponent has like attack triggers and that kind of thing, it's like, nope, knock it, shut it down.
Makes sense for white, in my opinion. I love it. I love it for a 1-drop. This picture, though.
The picture, yeah. It's. I feel like it sums it up nicely.
Oh my god, that should have been the name of the episode. They said it so much.
I think it was it. It might have been.
I don't know. It was so a good episode.
So
I love this. This was you, and I think it's brilliant.
That was mine. It's not the design I'm most proud of. We'll get to that later. I'm trying to alternate here. What else do we got?
Have good luck. I made so fucking many.
You did make many of them.
I couldn't stop. I like hyper fixated on it, and it was partly because I had other stuff to do.
So, when it comes to Commander, one of the card types that is incredibly powerful is tutors, right? Being able to search up and find cards is obviously like very, very powerful. Demonic Tutor being the greatest, like or one of the like best in class. That's the word. 1 in a black, find a card, go freaking crazy. Was always a good card. But even in like 60 card 40, or 60 card 4-of formats, it was already good. And then you take that in Commander, holy crap! Well, and it's funny because they made a powered down version in Diabolic Tutor, which is the exact same effect, but it's 2 black. So it literally costs twice as much mana. And frankly, in a lot of like casual pods, it's still totally playable.
Yeah, it's totally fine.
And so you decided to kind of split the diff with Figure It Out, which is 2 in a black. Search your library for a card, put it in your hand, then shuffle, and you exile it. That's just, it does the thing that you want it to do, and given power creep nowadays, I feel like 2 in a black is actually about right.
Yay. And part of the reason I wanted to exile it is once you figure it out, done. It's figured out.
You're done.
It's gone.
It's a simple design, it fits the theme, I'm into it.
Yeah.
Also, Katie and Rosie doing the Nux. That's just great. That's just wholesome.
Something about Katie saying "figure it out" feels so much more cutting than everybody else saying it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So I had to feature her, and with her and Rosie, I'm like, I would listen to them over Wayne fucking any day.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Sorry, Wayne.
I don't. Nice. Okay, so like I mentioned, I've been watching entirely too much of Shorzy. Entirely too much.
Yeah. Okay.
Great show. There's some characters in Shorzy that I felt needed to get represented, and that is the gyms. So it's all about a hockey team, right? And they get these 3 guys online or on board. They bring them in to be part of this senior A, as they call it, whale shit hockey team. And they're the enforcers. If you're not familiar with enforcers in hockey, their whole goal is to like fight the other team and get them scared. And so like get them scared of getting their teeth knocked out, which, as you know, like, which happens.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Tis hockey.
It is hockey. It is what it is. And so they get the gyms online. Their day job is as security guards in a prison. So as you can imagine, they don't take shit. And I decided that we needed to represent them with a hasty Gruul card. And I wanted to make it weird because like just making a big creature that could fight stuff, like you know, we've seen that time and time again. So I made them a 5-power haster for 3, which is insane. But to offset that, they only have 1 toughness.
Yeah.
And I feel like that represents them getting thrown into the box. Because that's what absolutely happens when you're getting done fighting. You get knocked out and you're removed from the game. But they also have the ability to tap and fight target creature. So it ends up being kind of like a 5-mana burn spell, like that can go face.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of how or a 3-mana 5 damage burn spell is almost how it plays, but it is
fun blocker.
Right.
Fun little fighter.
Yeah. I thought it was a neat idea.
I'd enjoy this card.
Nice. I think it does the thing. You know, and if you get got by it, it feels real bad. Because it's 1 toughness. This thing does this fight.
It's like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, it's not good. I probably wouldn't run this card, but I think it was a fun design. So, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Groovy cool. Next up, we have more. Oh, so I mentioned Derry earlier, just because he exists.
Love Derry.
The main core cast, I had to get represented, and so Brujaja took it upon themselves.
I made commanders for everybody.
All of them are legendary creatures.
I'm upset I didn't get to Gale, the McMurrays, or the fucking preacher. I can't think of his name right now.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Gale would be Golgari. That's all I'm saying.
Gale is Golgari.
Just
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
She fucks ghosts, Ham.
That's true, she does.
She keeps body parts in the bar preserved. That bitch.
And I feel like there's been a joke or two about growths, but I could be wrong. Anyway.
That bitch Golgari.
I'm okay with this. But anyway, here we have Derry the Inquisitive. 2/4 for 2 white. When you enter the battlefield, make a clue token for each creature target opponent controls. Holy balls.
He has so many questions.
So many questions, exactly.
He's always confused.
Once you figure it out, yeah. I don't know. He's trying to figure it out. Anyway, and so back to Chorn is the ability. At the beginning of our upkeep, other creatures you control gain vigilance until end of turn, which I think is appropriate given that the main cast of the show are in fact farmers. And hey, good buddy, you can tap and then 3. So white. Target creatures target opponent controls. Gets -X, where X is the number of clues you control. So are all of his questions bothering people to the point? That is so
because everybody at some point is like, Derry, you gotta fucking stop.
Oh, this is so unhinged. I love it. All right, yeah.
I could not stop laughing while doing this. I could not stop laughing.
And you found the perfect picture too. Yeah, because
I have to say it was not hard to find that face in pictures of Derry.
I believe
that was like most pictures of Derry, but this one I felt was iconic.
Yeah, it fits. It was, this might have been from the pilot. I don't know. Anyway, great stuff.
It could be from every episode.
It could be from every episode. Yeah, the amount of times that they are just around the produce stand and he is asking them questions.
No, they're on a break from work. Mm-hmm. They're having a beer. They're having too many questions. It's great.
Too many questions. All right. This one is also just another one that's just such a clean design. I gotta show it off. Hard no. Yeah. So that's an expression that Wayne uses all the time. It's just a functional reprint of Counterspell.
That's it. It's just a reprint of Counterspell. It would say Counterspell if it had one of those little sub things.
No, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I had to do it.
It's perfect. It's right there. What can you do?
We got multiple Counterspells in this deck. You're welcome.
Exactly. I have to wonder. do we have any cards out there where the title and the flavor text are the same? Because I think that fits here very nicely. Anyway, that's got to be a thing, right?
Probably, I'm sure.
Yeah. Cool.
I just, again, couldn't stop giggling.
Yeah, I love it. So, okay, I need to not bury the lead anymore. I have my favorite designs that I came up with that I'm most proud of. I was going to say it, but screw it, let's go. It's also a counterspell, so I think that's fitting.
We have a lot of counterspells here, but if you think about it, it makes sense.
I don't love counterspells. They're like, they're
do.
removable, but you have to have them at just the right moment. It's like,
yeah.
Anyway, they're very awkward. In any event, so in Shorzy specifically, the character Shorzy has this little ism, this little thing he does just to get under people's skin, where he will ask them a question, and right as they start to answer, he'll just go, huh? And just to knock them off their rhythm. It's the douchiest move. Yeah. And he does it constantly.
So annoying.
He does it like 3 or 4 times an episode, and all the different characters react to it in different ways, and so that's a great way to like characterize them. It's actually kind of a brilliant little writing device to have your protagonist have this little douche move that he's always doing.
It's just the worst.
But I had to immortalize that in a card, which is it is of course a counterspell. It is an instant for 1 black. That's right. This is a black counterspell. Counter target spell. If that spell is countered this way, exile it with a time counter on it. If it doesn't have suspend, it gains suspend. So
it's so funny.
So what that does is it stops the spell from resolving this turn. On its controller's upkeep, they remove the time counter and can cast it for free. So they still get the spell, just not right now. It's just gonna slow you down by just a little bit. I was proud of this design. I thought this was really funny.
It's so funny.
And in like
it's great.
Yeah, and in some kind of tempo shenanigans, like that could actually be quite powerful.
And
so.
that he is so a black creature.
Oh, Shorzy's mono black completely. 100%.
Yeah, I was in the mono. I am proud to have him on the team.
100%. No, yeah, no, Shorzy's absolutely mono black. Yeah, and it fits, right? It just fits. I think anyway.
Oh yeah.
Cool. All right.
So
what else we got? I also find it really funny that independently, Brujaja and I both kind of came to the conclusion that the hockey players from Letterkenny were Gruul. Like I don't know why, but just, like for some reason that just fits.
Well, he felt Gruul.
I did.
The other Dipsy Doodle was not.
Oh,
Gruul.
Jonesy's not Gruul. I missed that.
Jonesy's Boros.
Oh, Jonesy's Boros. Okay.
Because I felt like the hockey players as a whole are Naya. Like.
I don't know why, but that makes sense.
They're not diabolical. I don't feel like there's black in there. They're not like the blue heart shutdown. They're the big stompity stomp, like dinosaur shutdown.
I mean,
kind of thing.
You have the physical prowess aspect. They're emotional about the game they're playing.
They're a little stampede when they're together.
Yeah. And they're all about the team, which is very white. So like, okay, okay, all right, I got you.
I don't know. There was something about it that felt right to me.
I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that. Yeah. But yeah, so here we have Riley, Bro Dude Spokesbro.
Another name I could not stop laughing at. I don't even know if it's good.
Use of multiple bros. I'm here for it. And yeah, so 2, and then hybrid girl. 3/2 haste menace. Whenever a creature you control attacks at +X/+X till end of turn, where X is the amount of food tokens you control. And the ability just ripping. Sacrifice a food token, put a +++ counter on target creature you control. That is like kind of nuts. The overrun potential on this is definitely impressive.
It's hilarious.
Well, and just like they're always
Gruul
ripping
tokens.
Sandos.
I'm sorry. Fucking excuse me. Sit the fuck down.
It's like, so wait, it's an aggro deck, but it's a food deck.
Yep.
Yeah. So all of a sudden, the Hobbit stuff from Lord.
And like honestly, I couldn't think of anything more Commander forward than a completely incorrect mechanic for a color. Like, this does not belong in Gruul. We're going to make it Gruul because the flavor actually makes perfect sense. But if you think about it, it's a 1/1 counter deck. That's what it is.
I mean, kind of. So you actually, you lose a lot of really powerful synergies by not having, white in the mix and whatnot. So
that's why
partners with Riley, Bro Dude Spokesbro. All right. And Riley here is indeed Boros.
Jonesy.
Or Jonesy, sorry. Riley was the last one we were just looking at. Who is not a leprechaun.
Yeah.
But,
there was something about, so the difference to me between Riley and Jonesy, the reason I made them the way they are, is something about Riley feels like he's the more aggressive of the two. He's the aggressor more often than Jonesy is.
That's
Jonesy goes along with it.
Okay. Yeah, also,
in those moments.
I think that's fair.
Unless it's like mutual. When it comes to like mutually fighting it for the hockey team, then they're right on it.
Right on. Yeah.
Which, if you notice the picture I used, they're actually bumping each other. I split a picture of the two giving a fist
that's
bump.
awesome. I didn't realize that. I love it.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, that's great. These little things are like, this is proper design discussion. I dig it. Yeah. But yeah, so he too is a 3/2 for 4 with haste and menace with wheel snipe silly boys. You tap and it's hybrid Boros, 2 hybrid Boros. Creatures you control gain haste and menace until end of turn. When a creature you control deals combat damage to a player this turn, create a food token. And also, he also has just ripping, where you can sack a food to put a counter on.
So it's a self-sustaining, if you have the partners out, it's a self-sustaining engine of food tokens. And I made this before Fallout was announced with the goddamn Nuka-Cola thing.
Perfect.
We're screwed. This would be disgusting.
That actually would be really powerful. But here's the thing. Both of these cards are very powerful on their face. They also are both 4-drops with 2 toughness. Like, that is a big knock against them. The haste is huge because you're getting like some value the turn they enter.
It made sense to me flavor-wise for them not only have haste because of their hockey player aspect, like once you're on the ice, but menace because of their personality.
Yeah, absolutely. It works. I like it.
How to do it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I made them 3 2s. Oh, I keep freezing. I made them 3 2s because they hate leg day.
That is just a little subtle detail, and I adore it. All right. That's fantastic.
It's like, I tried to really take these things into account. Now, granted, I have to admit, I used to work for Topps, the baseball card company. And I worked for the Walking Dead Card Trader. It was a digital card trading app where we made digital card sets. And it was my job to come up with the card sets. So I came up with all the card sets on the app. So I had to pay attention to story. I had to watch every episode of The Walking Dead multiple times.
Wait, you were the primary designer on the whole game?
I didn't make the cards as in like aesthetically. It was my job to come up with like the card set itself. So like I did an in memoriam one where each time a big character died, we would release a card set of like their biggest moments.
Okay.
And if you collected them all, there was a reward card of like their biggest, most iconic moment on it.
Okay.
People loved it. It was so popular, it got translated over fucking physical cards. That shit's still in packs.
Wait, and you designed them? You designed all of those cards?
Yeah, I would pick the pictures and then we'd like give them to the graphic designer to go with it. But like, yeah, the set itself was my concept, my idea.
That's dope as hell. I dig it. I knew you worked on it. I guess I didn't realize the scope though. That's awesome.
Yeah, there were 2 producers on everything, and there was one that was like the creative producer, which was me, and then there was the one that was like the product producer who was in charge of the e-commerce aspect of it and figured out like what coin value to sell the pack at and crap like that.
Gotcha.
Because I sucked it out. No, it was great. But so when it comes to shit like this, I'm like taking it so serious.
Hey, it's okay. It's all good. Which is funny too, because like from when I was designing these, I was thinking more from like a Magic perspective first, and then I was really dialed in, and you could definitely see the differences because like my take on the hockey players was an instant that could be in their deck. To be fair, it's in the right colors. It's called Ferda, which is an instant for 2 green red, where you create 2 green and red warrior creature tokens with trample. My thought being instant speed, like it kind of, it's it's raise the alarm on steroids. It was kind of the idea. And my thought was, 4/4 worth of stats for 4 mana is not great these days. It's not, but it's in a color where flash or doing things at instant speed is not super common.
Yeah, and the things that are like return to nature.
Right.
Things like that.
And so the idea of being able to like ambush somebody with 2/2/2s out of nowhere, like that seemed like a cool idea, and you can do it on your opponent's end step, so they basically have haste. Like, you know, so it's not exciting, but it's a cool role player that could fit in a deck alongside, you know.
I couldn't help myself but make commanders, so I tried so hard to like figure out magic mechanics that made sense, but would also try to be somewhat balanced a little bit.
Well, that's the beauty about commanders. See, like this, like Ferda, I feel like you could probably print that into a standard set. Like this could be, you know, like a 60 card competitive card, and it might see some play if it's supported. You know, it's like it's not necessarily sexy, but it can get the job done. You know, meanwhile, some of these other designs are like, holy commander, man,
ridiculous.
One of the first ones that comes to mind.
My bad.
No, you're fine. Is a Steward, Wondrous Raver. This is a commander's commander. This is like clearly designed to be the face card of a pre-con deck. Where they make a dozen different skid creatures that are all in it. Like, because we are Steward, Wondrous Raver.
Oh, that was the wrong goddamn file, because I forgot to add that he was partners with Rolled at the bottom.
He's partnered with Rolled. Oh, my bad. No, it's fine.
Regardless. No, I uploaded the wrong one to the folder.
But it does partner with Rolled. Great. And then there could be, like, the alternate partner in there could be Devin from the first 2 seasons, which, like, nobody remembers. Anyway, although, actually, I thought it was pretty funny. But regardless. So, Steward, Wondrous Raver, wondrous being an adjective that he uses all the time, is a 2/3 for 2 blue-black, which blue-black feels right. Skids you control get -1/+1. The idea that they can take a hit, but they're all physically weak.
Due to drugs. Due to drugs.
It's just drugs. Well, and because drugs. They're not supposed to be safe. They're drugs. Anyway, and then, dude has an ability that I think is genuinely very strong. And it's one of those where you could never in a million years print this into a standard set, because in limited, it would be cracked in half, and in a 1v1 environment, it would not be, like, healthy. But in Commander,
the skids part would be irrelevant. Completely fucking irrelevant.
But he has the ability, it's 2 hybrid blue-black. So it's a hybrid blue-black, hybrid blue-black. Target creature gets -1/-1. If you're only in these 2 colors, for every 2 mana you have, you can knock something down by -1/-1.
Disgusting.
That's stupid. Like,
so annoying. This would be like, yes, this is a commander's commander.
Right.
This could also be completely irrelevant to skids.
100%. Yeah, that's just, and it doesn't tap. So you can like keep dumping it in. If you have excess mana lying around, the turn Steward comes into play, go nuts. And then there's also the ability Rave, where it's 3 Hybrid Dimir, tap. Creatures target opponent controls are goaded until end of turn. Because they're feeling the music, they're just vibing. And so
they have to dance.
They have to dance. That's
they have to dance.
It's the silliest design. And in Commander, though, you can get away with it. And we see that. We see Commanders that are 3 colors or have some goofy hybrid mana in there just cuz, you know, that'll do these huge bombastic effects that you can only do when you're balanced to a 4-person table, you know? When you have 4 players, 100 card library, 40 life, you can do some of these big silly nonsense things, and it works. You know, it's like, it's not like
I was thinking, because of the way Universes Beyond has been presented, we have a lot of different ways that we have been able to access Universes Beyond, and that they've released it. So to me, this felt more like the Warhammer or the Fallout release, where it was all going to be like commanders and a bunch of them because you could. But like, even if these aren't command, like I don't see Derry as a commander, but I intended him to be in the Wayne deck.
There you go. Exactly. Yeah, which makes sense. Yeah, I dig it. But yes, and Steward, of course, is partners with Rolled. Steward. I don't know that it quite matches hostile, but it's in the conversation, right? It's so good. It's just such a subtle little piece of wordplay. I love it, and
I think it's accurate.
It fits exactly. Well, I also really dig how all of these characters, you've decided, like, what is this as a 4-drop? Like, what is this character as a 4-drop?
I decided to make them all 4-drops.
Yeah.
To try to balanced some that were a little sillier.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I felt right.
I dig it. No, it's super fun. So anyway, rolled Steward is a 1/2 for 2 black-red. When rolled enters the battlefield, each creature target opponent controls gets -X until end of turn, where X is the number of skids you control. And Steward is the ability when you cast Steward, Wondrous Raver, you may put rolled Steward from the graveyard to the battlefield.
The two of them together is gonna be fucking hilarious.
That's gonna be ridiculous. Absolutely. Well, the funniest thing too there is.
But you have to cast Steward.
You have to cast Steward. Yes,
Steward for it work. You can't blink him.
Yep. Yeah, you can't blink Steward. Yep.
That's how I tried to balance it, because this is a board wipe. This could
basically
be conceivably a board wipe.
You know, honestly, this kind of reminds me of like what is it, Thumberchod, the gigantic dragon from the D&D secret lair. When it enters the battlefield, it deals damage to all creatures that don't have flying. And that is very much just like a board wipe coming out of the command zone pretty much every time. And this has a similar vibe. But you need to have a lot of skids in order for it to work.
Yes. Maskwood Nexus, here we come.
Well, there's that.
And if it's a Grixis, so, you know, Rooftop Storm.
I mean,
my favorite completely unnecessary combination in every single type of deck with blue. Don't worry about it.
I dig it. Come to think, actually, you know what? The more I think about it, the more roll's actually reminding me of Massacre Girl. It's kind of that similar vibe, right?
Oh my god!
And that's similar aesthetic. I'm not mad at it. Yeah.
Yep. No, I can totally see it.
I also love how Stewart's ability gives all skids -1/+1.
Yes.
Rolled is a 0/3 if Stewart is on the battlefield.
Because if you think about it, he never fights.
No. Yeah.
He doesn't do anything.
Not really.
Not like that. Like, he runs his mouth.
Yep.
And,
he
you know,
talks
he's
smart, but he
Stewart's...
mostly just dances. Yeah,
he's Stewart's backup, but, like, where is he when Stewart's not around? Nowhere.
Yeah. No, super fun. That was definitely a cool design. And yeah, the skids being Grixis, it fits.
Yeah, it just felt right.
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah. Cool. So speaking of things that felt right, this was one that I laughed quite a bit when I first saw it. Squirrely Dan, the appreciator. 3/5 for 2 white-green with flash and haste. When Squirrely Dan appreciates her, enters the battlefield, creatures you control with +0/+2 till end of turn.
I also saw him in the Wayne deck.
Yeah,
and I felt like this is appropriate.
Yep. And then just between us girls is the activation, which your choice of flavor words.
Thank you. Thank you.
So it is 2 in the hybrid Selesnya. Tap. Creatures you control gain vigilance and lifelink until end of turn. Holy balls!
I think this could be a standalone commander.
Oh, totally.
Selesnya. So this would just be absolutely obnoxious. I think it would be a great, like, in the 99 of like a Telressa, whatever the fuck her name is. Like,
yeah. Which is giving the whole team vigilance and lifelink? Oh my goodness.
But if you think about it,
I mean, honestly,
that man is he's very powerful. He's always just hype as hell and ready to fight.
That's true.
But he reels it in. He doesn't start it.
That's true. He never starts it, but he will finish it.
Yeah, his ass will give everybody vigilance and lifelink and finish it.
And he's always part of the he's always part of the team. Like whenever they're having a scrap, he's always in the mix. But he's never the one.
That's part of the reason I felt like the +0/+2 was important. He's almost like a little bit tanking.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
He's giving everybody a solid wall of defense.
Yeah. I have no doubt that he can take a hit. Also, played by K. Trevor Wilson, who is a hilarious comedian. I highly recommend his stuff.
The +2 includes him because it's creatures you control.
Which is silly. So he enters the battlefield as a 3/7. I want this guy in arcade.
With haste. And he's got flash. He's got flash. It's an instant speed.
Yeah, and I say fits within Arcades and Doran. Both of those could run this. Oh my goodness.
off the rails. I went
a
off
little bit.
the rails.
This one is a little silly. Yeah. If you have 6 mana open, oh my goodness, strap in, everybody. It's happening. Yep. Truly insane. Again, the kind of thing you can get away with in Commander, though. As long as you're not balancing for limited, man, go nuts. Yeah.
Because like none of them are getting released for standard, so I'm like, fuck yeah, let's go.
Screw it. Let's jam.
I apologize to modern and legacy players.
All right, and so while we're exactly. Well, have fun, Vintage. Good luck with this. Anyway, so we're talking about the Hicks right now. We're kind of going through the list, and so of course we got to talk Katie, Psychic Sniper.
Yes.
Yeah. Snipe. Yeah. So yes. So 1 white, blue, black. I get a really big kick out of the fact that she's like the one card, the standalone card, that is 3 colors. Like, you get the most complex kind of mix with this one character, and I think that is kind of fitting.
Yeah, well, there's one other that's 3 colors.
Oh, there is? Okay.
Tannis.
Oh, Tannis is, yeah, of course she is.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, no, right. No, right, of course. But it's funny, I kind of like that, because I feel like, I'm pretty sure, I don't have the stats to back this up, but I suspect out of all the different characters, Katie, of the core cast, Katie probably has like the fewest lines. Like, she doesn't seem to, like, she doesn't have as much, like, discussion, but at the same time, she's a major character who is there throughout the whole show.
Yeah.
And is always, like, an integral part of the story and has a whole lot of characterization. Like, it's really cool. It's really nicely done. And so the idea that there's a lot of complexity with this character, all right, I dig it. And so,
I wanted to add a little bit of complexity to her card.
I dig it. So whenever a creature you control attacks, look at the top X cards of the like defending player's library, where X is the number of creatures you control, and you may put them back in any order.
Look, every time there's a fight, she's on the side smoking a joint.
Yep.
Unless there's another woman to fight.
True.
And immediately goes in. If she confronts someone like she did with Angie, she dressed as Angie and met her in the locker room and got this close to her face. And I'm sorry, but that's fucking terrifying.
Oh yeah, no, it's no. Katie's one of those people, of all the characters, I do not want to make her my enemy, for sure.
Which is why, like, I felt like this was appropriate, where, yeah, they're all fighting, but I fucking see you.
Right. Well, and this kind of an effect, too. The idea of stacking the top of your opponent's deck is, like, a tremendous dick move, right? It just, like, and there are a handful of cards that can do it, and it's not very, well, like, Jace the Mind Sculptor, and you have, like, the Fate Seal mechanic, which is a whole thing. Did a video on that.
But this is, this could be this could be somebody's library, if somebody was insane enough.
Talk about, again, the kind of effect that you do not want in a 1v1 environment, where if you can, like, lock it down so you can guarantee your opponent isn't going to hit good cards for the rest of the game, they are so screwed. Like, yeah, they just are. It just is what it is. But in Commander, we're drawing a million cards a game. There's cascade effects. We have the Discover mechanic. All kinds of things shuffle. You know, so the idea is like, all right, you're gonna hit me with this. Good to know. I'm gonna crack my Evolving Wilds post-combat. Like, and I'm just gonna shuffle this, and we'll.
But then I made it worse.
But wait, there is more. Yes.
I couldn't stop there. Wasn't enough.
So she has the ability, not my forte. Which, if you've ever heard Wayne say, Jesus, Katie, put some clothes on. That is always the response.
Not my forte.
So it costs 3. It's a hybrid, various hybrid espers, but 3. And a tap. Target opponent discards a card. Opponents lose life equal to the discarded card's mana cost, and draw a card for each card discarded this way. You go down, I go up, everybody gets done. Like, so she's just clearly trying to just monkey with your hand and the top of your deck, which again, in a 1v1 format, that is like oppressive and all, like, very difficult to deal
disgusting.
with. Disgusting. Truly disgusting. However, in a in Commander, like, it kind of
it'll take a minute to get going.
It'll take a minute to get going. And
that was my point with all of them. Is yes, it can be discussed. They all take a minute.
They all take a minute. Exactly. They're all 4 drops. They're low stats. Like, they're trying to, with except Squirrely Dan. That dude's a house. But anyway, like,
he had to be.
He had to be. I mean, he's a big.
I don't make the rules.
Yeah. That is fair. That is fair. But in any event, I think this is a really fun design, and it's one of those that scales to Commander to a point where it kind of encourages you to dogpile on one player. But I think most players would look at it and realize, like, well, this is encouraging me to attack the person who is ahead the most. So I can use these abilities to help kind of pull them back down to the, like, it's kind of the enforcer at the table. You know, where like, whoever the threat is, I'm going to mess with them pretty hard. So their next few draws are not going to be great unless they have some way to turn through their deck, like I'm saying.
Yeah, and I tried to make it like, yes, she can put him back in any order. She can only get rid of one at a time, kind of. Like, obviously, there's doubling effects, which is why I said for each card discarded this way, because you may get lucky and be able to draw a whole bunch more, because why not make her more disgusting?
Yeah. No, very cool. It's a neat design. I like it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, oh, and I want to run her as the commander with Xanathar. That's the kind of nonsense I want to be doing.
Think about her with Stuart in the 99. Fun,
well,
right?
He's got red, though, so she couldn't be the commander.
No, Stuart doesn't. Roald does. Stuart's Samir.
Oh, you're right. Stuart can be. All right.
So you can fuck with creatures, go at other people, look at their decks. It just, the control between the two of them.
That could be nasty. Which kind of makes sense because there was a little bit in the series where they did date for a minute. So those two working well together, although they did not work well together at all in the show.
They did not work well together, but they are friends, and she never gave up on him as a person.
That's true. And that's
like she was the only one who showed up to his rave.
Aw, that's right.
If you remember.
I
like,
remember that.
yeah, so them still being in the same deck, it can work.
It can work, yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, I love it. All right, and then another one. So the other 3-color card is Tanis. Here's this auntie of... and she's Jund. And it's funny, the moment you sent this one over, the moment I saw this one, it was just like, yeah, of course she's Jund. To which I followed up with, like, why is it of course she's Jund? like, the moment I saw that, it was just like, oh, that totally
And
fits.
this was easy to figure out. This was easy. I was like, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she has haste and intimidate, which, just the name of that keyword.
And
like,
it's not, you don't see intimidate.
No, not often.
Not anymore. It's not common. But I thought it was.
Well, intimidate, that, if I'm not mistaken, a card with intimidate, that's the replacement to or fear, right? So if you have intimidate, you can only be blocked by artifact creatures or creatures that share a color with you. So intimidate on a 3-color creature is actively bad. Like, it really is.
No, it's not crazy.
No, it's not great. But, I mean, hey, there's that one mono blue player at the table where it's like, haha, I'm coming for you, boo. But anyway, yeah. But that's great. And just, she needed to intimidate. She's a very intimidating presence, so that makes sense. But yeah, she has, when Tanis, fierce auntie, enters the battlefield, put a haste counter on each creature you control. And then, she has an ability called the Native Flu, where for 3, which is a very hybrid Jund, no tap, creatures you control gain haste and plus X, where X is equal to the number of creatures you control with haste. So,
put Agnes in here. You're welcome.
Hell yes. So you need to ramp like crazy to get really good value out of this, like you just do.
But it's Jund.
But it's Jund.
There's green in it. You're fine.
Yeah, that's it will not be super hard.
You're fine.
You're fine. But yeah, so she needs to stick, and then you need to be able to play 3, but the problem is she doesn't tap to do that. So if you're going super wide, and you have multiple bits of mana sitting around, just blam, 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 it's just like, you can hit like 3 Crater Hoofs in one friggin' turn with this.
That's honestly part of the reason that I'm like, Intimidate's not the greatest mechanic on a 3-color. We gotta make her a 3-color. I gotta make her a 2/3.
Yep.
Like, she gotta be a 4-drop. There gotta be something about it that offsets the fact that I made it a little too ridiculous.
Yeah, it's pushed pretty hard, yeah. Or it can also be +X+0. Like, that might help offset it a little bit.
Could.
But where's the fun in that? Yeah.
But I didn't think of it.
No, it's fine. This is fun. This is a good one. And it looks insane. Like, this looks like easily the top, like one of those powerful ones. But again, Commander's a self-regulating format. If somebody says,
Yeah.
oh, and we're going to bring Tannis, it's like, oh, I'm going to bring this thing that has 15 board wipes. Let's go.
We're going to have to. Yeah.
We'll have to, otherwise.
A lot of these decks are very board wipe needed.
Mm-hmm.
Which nobody ever plays, hence why I put them in there.
Exactly. Yeah, you get to a point where it's just board wipe or bust. Yep. But I mean, hey, you don't always need a board wipe. You don't always need a board wipe. There are other effects that can help out. So I just have to ask. Do you want to come to a super soft birthday party? So, super soft birthday party. It's an instant for 2 and hybrid Azorius. Prevent all combat damage that will be dealt to you and creatures you control this turn, and you get to be like. I love the idea of like it's a fog, but it's just for me. You guys can deal with it.
Well, I was thinking of Eerie, what's it called, that just came out with Eldraine, where it's a 3-drop and it prevents incoming damage to you and your creatures. With just you and your creatures. I don't think you gain life. Yeah. This is essentially like that, but like with life, because it's a birthday party. Happy birthday. And I am so happy about the picture. I just have to throw that out there.
That is a great screenshot. Yeah. It's pretty fantastic. Yeah, I love this. And the super soft birthday party is also a really cool moment in the story. Because one, it's them just being silly. And so like why and they make a big deal about it throughout the whole episode. And it's in like the second or third episode of the show ever.
But they're so loving about it. Like, yes, they're making a big deal out of it, but they're like, Derry, we're doing this for you. What do you want?
Yeah, like it's this very sweet thing, but he's like, I'd rather not do it. Well, hard no, we're doing like you don't
No, we're loving you.
Yeah, it's like, no, we're doing this. This is like, there will be a cupcake station, and we will have the fruitiest drinks, and we will, and there will be
I thought,
with the unicorn horn, and
personal fog. Plus, that was one of the episodes that Wayne fought for the toughest guy in Letterkenny.
That's true. I believe this was the introduction of Joint Boy, if I recall correctly.
This was the introduction of Joint Boy.
Yep. That was who we was talking to. Do you guys want to come to a super soft birthday party? Like right after he knocked him out. Yeah.
Yep.
Good stuff.
Which makes sense to me. Anyway, yeah.
You love to see it.
Can't help myself.
This is, I don't know, these are entirely too fun. Yeah.
Why do you think I made so many? I have a problem.
It's all good. And this might be a thing that this will be a thing that we do from here on out, I assure you. I don't know that it's going to be a full episode every time, but we got started, we're hitting the ground running. So we also have the Letterkenny Irish. These dudes are, it is the dumbest bit, and they committed so hard to the bit. There's like 3 seasons of these guys just hanging out in the locker room with the same awkward friggin' speech pattern.
So good.
And it's hilarious. Yeah. Oh, I'm trying to remember their names in order, and I can't.
I can't.
I know it always ends with Boomtown, and that's and Boomtown's easily my favorite. I love that.
Fisky and Boomtown.
Yeah, Fisky, Boomtown.
We stand Boomtown in this house.
No, Boomtown's great. Yeah, and Yorkie is very forgettable. Anyway, the guys in the middle, it's like, oh, I'm so sorry. You're part of this bit. Funny. You need to be here, but like.
So good.
Anyway, so Letterkenny Irish, it is a creature human hockey player. 1, 2, for 3, and all 3 of those are hybrid Boros. The Letterkenny Irish get +1/+2 for each other creature named the Letterkenny Irish you control. A deck can have up to 5 cards named Letterkenny Irish. we got
do you know why they do? They love doing legs. That's why they did that.
That's why it's +1/+2. Yeah.
I had to do it. But that's why I also made them three Boros mana only. Yeah.
Pussy. Anyway.
But that's why I made them 3 Boros mana.
I love it. Oh, that's so
gotta be color.
Yep.
It's 3. So I couldn't stop laughing.
That's fantastic. Yep.
I was thinking of, because Nazguls are a thing.
The 7 dwarves are a
demonic
thing.
disciple or whatever it is a thing. The 7 dwarves is a thing.
Yep.
So I was like, it's 5 guys that we all know. They have to be featured somehow. This seems appropriate. Yeah. To me.
I love it. It's exactly what it needs to be. I dig it. And they can fit in the Jonesy and Riley deck quite comfortably. Yep. Yep.
Which is also part of it. I thought, they've got to be there.
They got to be there. Of course they do. Yeah. Very cool. So I'm looking. I think that's all of them that are in the folder. You made
That was all
Wayne
of
though,
them.
right?
I did. Wait, is he not in there?
Oh, in there. Yes.
What a dumb bitch. Hold on.
Yeah, I'm just not noticing this. I'm sorry. While we're live, this is a bad look, I know, but here we are.
Oh no.
But
That's
yeah.
all right.
So no, this right here kind of brings up like this whole kind of exercise and these things that we're talking about really makes at least gets me thinking about designing for Commander specifically, and like we're saying, because Commander is a very different beast than any other Magic format, and it's also kind of funny on my Twitter profile. One of the things over on my Twitter account, one of the things that I do is every day I find a bad card with a beautiful piece of art, and there are thousands. And so like it's not
so
hard.
many,
it's
endless.
Yeah, they're all over the place. But it's funny because when I pick one, I often get people like saying, "But wait, in this EDH deck, this card's actually decent," or like in limited, it was awesome. And the reality is, a bad Magic card. Like I've had to define what a bad Magic card is for me, and what I like when I say that it's bad, I mean it's not constructed viable because other options are readily available, and it's just been outclassed by other options, Usually they're great. Honestly, a lot of very bad cards are good in limited. It's like, well, when your options are limited, you make do with what you got. And in Commander, the game plays so drastically differently. There are plenty of cards that are genuinely terrible in, 1v1 formats. And in Commander are bombs. They're some of the best in the business.
There you go.
Right?
All right, I sent it on Discord. My dumb ass. I'm so sorry.
All good. All good.
This was maybe my favorite one that I made.
Okay.
I don't know why.
All right.
Felt good about it. Even though there is some diabolical shit that I made.
I love diabolical shit. It's the best. But yeah, so no, I find it funny. Like, actually, come to think of it, there are so many examples like Smothering Tithe. I remember I played through Standard when Smothering Tithe was legal. That card did nothing in Standard. It didn't see any play whatsoever. None. It was
Commander.
Quite bad. But in Commander, oh my goodness, that card is cracked in half. Like that's just one.
So
example.
annoying.
So dumb. It's so dumb. Anyway,
I think Wayne though could be in any format that has a lot of creatures.
All right, so yes, Wayne, Egg Hall President. Here we are, everybody. So, Wayne is a 2/4 for 1 white, blue, green. When Wayne, Egg Hall President, enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. We can stop right there and I'm in. Like, that is a really cool effect, and it is something very similar, very simple. And and he is a leader, so that
he
kind
is.
of
Yeah, absolutely.
And so he has also an ability called I'd Have a Scrap, which is 3 mana in Bant Hybrid. Creatures you control get +X/+X in a turn, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control.
That rampaging Brontodon, though. That crater hoof, though.
Yeah, that crater hoof, though. Yeah, and so this.
Think about it. You crater hoof and then crack that. Shut the fuck up.
That's ridiculous.
And now we have that Moon Knight, whatever it's called, spirit thing that does white
Cavalry,
crater hoof.
I had a really funny moment on stream not too long ago where I was playing Historic Brawl against a viewer, and I was like, I'm so sick of Crater Hoof. Crater Hoof is such a boring mechanic. Like, it's just, like, I get it. You played 7 mana, you win the game, all right, or 8 mana, or whatever it is. Like, all right, fine. And then I top decked a Moonshaker Cavalry. I was like, this is awkward. Like, don't
Whoopsie.
I was playing an Abzan Reanimator deck, and his cable was going wide, so that's a threat. Like, of course it fits. And it's just one of those where it's like,
that's really funny.
All right, I guess I'm part of the problem here. But anyway, but yes, so exactly. So we have, again, a Crater Hoof style effect, similar to Tannis, but we're in Bant now instead of Jund. And it makes sense. The fact that there is a little bit of overlap there, and I don't know, this is just nuts.
I feel like they're almost like the opposite.
Yeah, exactly.
Mechanics.
Yeah. Yeah,
but,
it's similar, and I dig it.
There was something about him that said Bant to me. I didn't feel like there was any black in there whatsoever.
No, not at all.
But Selesnya made sense to me, period. But his wit and how quick he is and everything, I had to add blue. There's too much instant speed countering.
Yeah. Well, Wayne
and his personality.
He's a really interesting character because he's very calm. Like, and so like red is like very absolutely nowhere to be seen.
Nowhere. It makes no sense.
And he's not super Yeah, he's not particularly
He's
selfish
not.
or ambitious.
He's not
or
going to
black
do whatever it takes to accomplish the goal. He's when a friend asks for help, you help him.
Exactly.
You know, which is white to me.
100%. Yeah. So no, him being white makes perfect sense. He's also a freaking farmer, so
gotta have green. Like
totally
he's a man of the land. He understands it.
Yeah, he seems like the kind of guy who is, and it's easy to underestimate how intelligent he is.
Yeah.
You know, and so, but yeah, I do agree that blue totally fits. So yeah, good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, that one was my favorite. I gotta be honest. I don't even know why. I would play this card. I don't even like Bant.
But I mean, it enters the battlefield to put counters on your stuff. I mean, that's amazing right there.
A little gross.
That's pretty gross. Yeah.
And it's blue, so if I'm blinking, then blue.
Yep. And then you got Panharmonicon style effects. All of those are available. Like, stuff gets silly. Yep.
And you don't have to tap his. I'd have a scrap either.
That's true. You know, because yikes. And it compounds. So the first time you hit it, you add that power. You effectively, like, you take the...
And it includes him.
Yes. You take the biggest power you have, which is at least going to be 3 with him online, with a counter. And so it's at least going to be 3. You give +3/+3 or more to your entire team. And then you hit it again. And now you're adding the new power on top of it. So if you can hit this 3 times, you're effectively, like, in a way, kind of tripling the power that you have on board.
And think about the things that you could do with that. Like, if yes, all of the doublers, the hard scales, the doubling season, the foreign klexes.
Well, and the number of, like, cheap, gigantic creatures that are out there now, which is apparently a new thing that they're just doing forever.
I hate it.
Yeah.
But
it's like Hammer Skull on 3 into this on 4. Good luck, everybody.
We don't need that.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
For what?
Fortunately, the Ancient One has black, so you don't have a 2-mana 8/8 in this deck. Not yet, anyway. They'll get there. Yep.
But you can have it in the skates. And Katie.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh, what are we doing?
Think about it with Katie.
Wait.
He's mill. He's a mill commander. She rearranges your fucking deck, and then he can mill it for you.
Oh, so I'm gonna put all the best stuff on top and then mill it? Have fun never seeing these. Boom!
Oh my god!
All
I'm
right,
sorry, but that's the funniest thing I could think of, and I want this UB
all right.
so bad!
I know, right? So, Wizards, if you're out there and you are interested at all in some design consultation, hit us up. I can't for Brujaja, but
so
I'm shockingly
the ancient one is draw a card, discard a card. When you discard a card this way, target player mills cards equal to its mana value. So if you can find a way to, like, double down on discard, and that's a 4.
Yikes.
And then activate Katie's ability. Because he doesn't tap for that, and she doesn't tap for her.
Correct.
So
this is all happening.
I think Wizards should hire me to design cards.
Honestly, you know?
Just be on the team. Did I design the best cards? No. Is there a good place to start with them? I think so.
Oh, absolutely. I think, yeah, early design, this gives the playtester something to work with. Absolutely.
Hilarious.
Yeah, I dig it. No, designing Magic cards is so much fun. Holy cow. Like, and it really speaks to just how deep the game is. Like, it's really fantastic. Yeah, I dig it.
We gotta figure out another UB to do now so I can spend too much time hyper-focusing on it.
You know, we could do speculative stuff about the Marvel Secret Lair, because who knows what's going to happen there.
I do have ideas.
I have ideas as well.
Do you have ideas?
I have, yeah. I'm curious, actually. Are you a big fan of Marvel?
Very much so.
Okay.
I'm excited for it.
All right.
Marvel is like, that's my comic place. I love it.
I would love to. I don't know if we got a minute. I wouldn't mind getting into that a little bit because I'm curious.
Yeah, we can talk for a bit.
Okay. The thing that oh, go ahead. Sorry.
So, I do want to say the biggest thing I think is going to happen is there won't be an MCU, and if they do, it'll be like Secret Lair only.
Yeah.
And it is strictly because of royalty costs.
Mm-hmm.
Hasbro's not going to want to pay it, and Disney's not going to want to pay it. And I understand that, like, Hasbro's picked up the properties and the IP for before so that they can make action figures, but these are dramatically different.
Right. Oh, 100%.
Dramatically different.
Yeah.
They're not paying the royalties for the next God knows how long these things are available as packs.
Oh, right, exactly. Well, yeah, like the idea of getting art of like a Jack Kirby drawing from the 60s or whatever, like Marvel has already gotten all the rights to that. They have all of it. If you're paying the Marvel license, you can use that. The moment you put like a picture of Robert Downey Jr.'s face, oh, the price tag just skyrockets so
for
hard.
everyone. But part of the reason I think we're seeing a lot of Marvel stuff all of a sudden is if you think about it, how old was I? 26. About 10 years ago, Disney bought Marvel.
Mm-hmm. Wait, that was that long ago?
Or maybe it was a little longer. Okay. But they also bought Fox. So they bought Lucasfilm. So they made a lot of moves really quickly to do a lot of things. And what did we see immediately? Lucasfilm, we saw Star Wars on fucking Bounty paper towels. Immediately, it was everywhere because they had a lot of stuff going on. Yeah. So now they're able to move on and realize how much they aren't using the comic material that they have now taken over.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we have this
through Marvel.
Yeah.
So they're like, well, in my opinion, what do we do with it? Where does it go? So if you've noticed, things like Marvel Snap and all the Marvel games are using all the OG designs. None of them are using the newer designs. It doesn't matter who owns the movies. They're not using them.
Right.
And it is royalty costs. Can you imagine what is in Hugh Jackman's contract?
It's got to be
with all the sequels. How much money? Goodness. Yeah, they're not gonna double down on that. What they are gonna use is what they have in archives that they could sell for cheap and make big bank on. So that is why my theory is we're sticking to comic art for Marvel. Nice. But that also means an infinite amount of possibilities on what's going to be in there.
That's very true. We have a lot of very awkward characters that never made it to the screen, or or secondary plot lines that can all of a sudden get featured and highlighted in interesting ways. It'll be very interesting to see. I'm curious. Now, I don't really read many comic books, especially like mainstream comic books. If the entire genre is the kind of dramatic story where like magical resurrection is commonplace and multiverses get abused to retcon stuff, I am generally not interested, said the Magic the Gathering player. So, in any event, so as a result though, like I generally, like when people get excited about new like big things happening in the comics, I wasn't really interested. When the first phase of the MCU came out, before it was a phase of the MCU and it was the MCU, when it was that Iron Man movie, like I enjoyed that. I thought those were fun, but I was coming to it from a very superficial standpoint. Like, I'm not a fan. I don't know these characters. I have zero skin in this game. Let's go. You know, and I appreciate the fact that they built the MCU off of what was at the time the second string characters. That was really cool, because in the comics, the Fantastic Four, the X-Men, Spider-Man, those were the big ticket hot, those were the hot commodities. And as a result, Marvel Studios didn't own the film rights to them because they had sold them all off to keep their whole business alive in like the 80s and 90s, from what I understand. Which is why we have the whole...
And those were all Stan Lee creations, too. All of them.
That guy might have been onto something. Yeah.
I
mean...
Which I really, really hope we do get some nod to Stan Lee. I don't expect to, but I'm really hoping we do.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, Albert Einstein's on a Magic card, so...
True, but they don't have to pay him.
That's true. Yeah, royalties on that was probably not a big deal. Yeah. What was that one called? I want to say Visions of the Master or something like that. Anyway, I will find it. I know it exists, and I'm so bummed that I don't know off the top of my head. I need to turn in my Magic Nerd card here. I know it's a white enchantment. In any event, but so with these MCU cards. So anyway, I'm not particularly not MCU, Marvel. Like it's become so synonymous. But as far as Marvel is concerned, I know very little. So as somebody who is more invested, what are your kind of thoughts, and what are some characters that maybe didn't make the transition to film that folks like me maybe don't know? Or maybe they were done dirty in the films and you want to see them done right in their Magic cards. Do any come to mind?
Funny enough, the TV series from Marvel are really what come to mind. when it comes to characters
Okay.
either being done dirty or being done, in my opinion, very well. Like, X-Men, we know the movies were garbage, trash pans, fucking dumpster fire. But there are so many universes where different things are occurring for the X-Men. And it is one of the things that they abuse multiverses, but at the same time, weirdly makes sense. Because the X-Men are so fucking chaotic. Some can travel through time, can slow down time, they can become other people. Their aging is wild. Because that's how the mutations are. They're just all dramatically different. But like when you're a kid, you're totally siding with Professor X. And now that everybody's adult, we're all like, Magneto had good ideas. Like.
Yep. That is 100% how it goes. That's what makes him such a great villain.
Yeah.
Like as you get older, you realize like, oh, wait a minute. I actually am total. And that's the thing. I'm going to go ahead. I'm just going to say it. I'm 100% on board with the core message of what Magneto was going for.
I will be in the Brotherhood in 2 seconds.
100%.
My favorite character, who I think we will see, I hope, is Mystique from the X-Men. In the movie, she was played by Rebecca Romaine Stamos, big, tall, blue lady who could transform into anyone. Her lore in the comics is no one's actually quite sure when she was born or what gender she was born because she's such a shapeshifter. She was born in Germany with the name Raven Darkholm. And as she grew older and turned fucking blue, as you can imagine, her life wasn't great. So she was constantly having to transform into something or someone to be able to be in the world. And as you can imagine, that would piss anybody off. And it makes sense that I identified with the shapeshifter as a fucking non-binary autistic who also had to fucking mask their entire life to be accepted.
Can't imagine what,
And like as an adult, I'm like, oh, okay. But that's one of the things that like I like about the MCU. So a character that I'm really, or of Marvel in general,
MU,
all of the universe, the MU,
the MU, yes.
But the Marvel, I guess the MTU, the Marvel Television Universe.
There we go.
My favorite show from that, my favorite character from that, who we probably won't see, but I hope we do, is Jessica Jones. Jessica Jones. Now, again, that's one of those characters that I really heavily identify with. Now, first, when her show came out, my roommate looked like me and was like, did we go to college with someone who was on the creative team? They're dressed like you. My hair was that color. My hair was that length. My hair was that cut. I wore a leather jacket every day, motorcycle boots, jeans, and a fucking loopy gray scarf. I ended up cosplaying her at New York Comic Con one year. The only thing I had to buy was a wig.
That's awesome.
Wild. But part of the reason I love Jessica Jones so much is if you've seen the show,
I have
she was under the control of a villain played by David Tennant, funny enough.
Oh, nice.
Who once he gave you an instruction to do something, you did it. That was it. So he decided she was his girlfriend. So you can imagine what she survived.
Yikes. Okay.
And so she ends up with complex PTSD, which I also have, not to brag. And just being able to see a character that honestly did show some accurate moments of what CPTSD is like. There are moments that she will have where she's like disassociating or like fell asleep somewhere because she drinks a lot, where she will have a small flashback and he's there, and all of the lighting turns a creepy purple color and everything's just different. The whole vibe's just different. And honestly, props to David Tennant. He is legitimately fucking disturbing in this show.
I don't doubt it. Yeah.
He is unnerving. And that was my first time seeing David Tennant in anything. I had seen Doctor Who. And I still
Doctor Who and like everybody, oh yeah, I think he's just
and
the
I fell in love with
greatest.
him.
Like,
and I fell in love with him. I did though. Sure. I fell in love with him because he was just so good.
Yeah.
He was just so good, and I love Kristen Ritter who plays Jessica Jones. She's phenomenal. So just kind of seeing her go through her journey of having CPTSD, trying to deal with it, being discovered for powers, meeting Luke Cage, the hero of Harlem, who is, they both ended up on the team, the Defenders, with Iron Fist and Daredevil and the Punisher. So, like, it's a cool little arrangement. But yeah, seeing someone be a complete badass while surviving that kind of trauma, while being able to live with that kind of trauma past it, even though she's a fucking raging alcoholic, so was I. So there's like just a lot of things that I see myself. I would be hype as feral fucking shit if she's in the set.
That's awesome. Okay.
I don't anticipate she will be. I do hope we see the Defenders because they did all have their own individual shows. There was Luke Cage, Iron Fist. The Punisher was the most popular after like Daredevil. So also shout out to John Berthnall who played the Punisher. God, he's so good. I just love that man. I'll watch him in anything. But yeah, hoping we see the Defenders. That's my most realistic one.
Interesting. Yeah, very cool.
Or least realistic option.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like so far off the beaten path because I think that kind of depends on how many cards we're getting.
Yeah, and I do think it is a Netflix property, so there's a really good chance we won't. Like if there's a Secret Lair, it won't be in it because it's definitely Netflix. They don't own the comic. That's like still under Marvel. I have some. But yeah. So
very cool. No, I dig it. And I'm curious, what color identity do you think Jessica Jones would be? That's the one that I get really hung up on is the color identity of these different characters. That's the thought experiment that I kind of just can't stop.
Esper.
Okay.
Esper, because God, does she have darkness in her? She has so much darkness, but she is pushed and pushed and pushed until she has no choice but to kill the villain, no matter how many times she gives him chances.
Yikes.
But she keeps giving him chances, and that's the white.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
To me. The black is absolutely doing what has to be done when it has to be done, but the white is trying to try everything else first, like doing everything that could be done. But then the blue, she's a private investigator.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Clues all day. She is scrying. She is investigating. She is tutoring. She is finding the answers for these things. In my opinion. So I'm voting Esper for Jessica Jones.
Okay. I dig it. Very cool. The reason I ask is that I find there are a handful of characters who have a very strong color aesthetic that, in my opinion, does not match their color identity given the way they behave. And I find that kind of interesting, and I really am curious how they're going to handle it. That's where I get caught up. So like the whole
some of them are like super fucking obvious. Like obviously Captain America is gonna be Jessica.
He's gonna be Jessica, and you can do some mental gymnastics to make him Jessica, whatever. Like, and Iron Man is gonna be the Boros equipment guy from the set. Okay, fine, whatever.
Yeah, we get it.
Sure.
All right. Or Mardu. He could be Mardu.
You can make
I don't think he will be.
The one that, like the Hulk, for example, like him obviously being a double face where Bruce Banner's on one side and the Hulk is on the other makes sense because he literally transforms. That effect in Magic is called transforming. And Bruce Banner, in my opinion, should probably be mono blue. He's an intelligent guy, not super strong. Okay, cool. And do something with card manipulation, card draw, whatever.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I don't know what the condition is.
He's
exactly
for answers.
And I don't know exactly how you simulate the rage factor to get him to turn. I mean, there'd be some kind of inbuilt mechanic, presumably. But the Hulk is green and purple in the comics.
Yeah. But Golgari doesn't fit him at all.
But he's red. That character, he's the embodiment of rage. He is
honestly,
emotion.
The Hulk makes sense to me as a Zet because he switches.
Totally. And so being a transformational thing makes sense.
He would be a double-sided card.
Easily a double-sided card. But the Hulk itself should be, in my opinion, mono red. And can you imagine if they made the Hulk but didn't make him green?
I think people would understand. I think people would understand.
Magic players would understand.
I don't feel like it doesn't make sense for green. He's too violent. He'll kill anybody, not just.
Yep. He will mess you up. It just is what it is. Yeah, and he's driven by his emotions. That's just how he works. And red is the color of strong emotions. Like that's how you define it. So anyway, that one is pretty obvious. The one that I think becomes a little more problematic and a little more, I don't know, interesting, and the one that really gets under my skin and makes me wonder is Black Panther. Because T'Challa
T'Challa is white. Like his values, his behavior, his everything is white.
And like he embodies what makes Mono white so well that I can't imagine that card being true to the character and being any other color identity. However,
I mean, I hope people understand that white is like the light. It's angel magic compared to demon magic.
He's
just
a
different
leader.
form. Incredibly strong leader.
He's
who does so loving and kind to his people, and he wants what's best. Like, you think about him in Civil War, what side was he on?
I don't even remember. I should know this. But yeah, exactly. He's all about supporting those around him and doing what is best. I mean, he embodies white so well. But can you imagine the mainstream media?
If they don't understand.
They won't, though. And the people who don't play Magic will not understand. And some blogger who knows nothing about Magic is going to go viral with the headline, Wizards of the Coast make Black Panther white. Like, that is going to be front page of Reddit in a heartbeat, and people are going to lose their damn mind. People who actually know the game and actually understand what's going on would understand that is true to the character and correct. And the people who don't, and like, I've asked this question of a number of people, and it's just like, oh, what is Black Panther's color identity? Every single one of them has said white without any hesitation.
But like, okay, so I'm going through the list exactly to make more of my point of why he would be white. Of Civil War.
Okay.
So Civil War, he was on the side that was essentially led by Iron Man. Mm-hmm. And there were two sides. And if you remember, Iron Man and Captain America are on opposing sides. Mm-hmm. Iron Man agrees that superheroes should be regulated, tracked, and everything.
Mm-hmm. Held accountable.
And yes. Captain America does not believe that it should be that kind of systematic thing. And that starts it. Mm-hmm. T'Challa, Black Panther, T'Challa, Black Widow, Vision, and War Machine are all on Iron Man's side. And they're all like, that to me is a Mardu team. So there's going to be different colors on there. Black Widow is freaking Rakdos, in my opinion.
Ooh.
T'Challa's white.
Okay.
Iron Man, I feel like could either be Mardu or probably Boros. Mm-hmm. War Machine is Boros to me. Sure. Vision, I feel like is Orzhov.
Ooh.
There's just something about that team, because like, I don't know, because he is willing to do whatever it takes, but like in a self-sacrificial way. So that's dark as fuck, but it's also light as fuck.
Yeah.
But then you have the opposing side, Captain America, the fucking Winter Soldier, Hawkeye, and the character no one scaled in this universe, the Scarlet Witch. And her and Jean Grey, most powerful creatures to ever exist in the Marvel worlds ever. In DC, it's Poison Ivy. And in anime, no one can tell me it's not Sailor fucking Moon, who I will probably make a UB for.
DC has Superman. And
doesn't matter.
Poison Ivy, like, they made Superman is fucking Superman. Like,
he's literally Mother Nature. Bitch could grow a fucking kryptonite crystal if she wanted. Let's be real.
Tell me that a level 20 druid is not the most horrifying thing in D&D. I mean, like, it's You're not wrong. Creatures that are tied to nature can get really crazy.
Like, people need to start playing druids, because high-level druids, there is no more powerful class, and you cannot fucking argue that. It outscales everybody. It is disgusting.
I just hit level 10 with my druid in Baldur's Gate.
There
Oh my god. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah.
we don't need to go down that tangent. Maybe that's another time for another.
And then, like,
they're great. Anyway, yeah.
So that kind of, if you think about it, one side is the structured lawful good. He's a lawful good. The other side is a chaotic good. They're both fighting for a good cause and to take care of their own kind, but it is escalating into a war because of it. So I feel like they've got to be the opposing forces. So, like, Jeskai makes sense to me, because even though that somehow, like, follows the rules, it also fucking doesn't.
Kinda. Yeah.
Well, like,
Orzhov,
Azorius with red is weird to me.
Fair. Well, both teams, and I like to take a look from the Civil War angle. Both teams are very much trying to do the right thing. Yeah. There's no question that everybody in that conflict is trying to do what's best. And it's funny because I can see both sides of it. On the one hand, like, superheroes being held accountable because their actions will change people's lives irrevocably. And, like, okay, them having some level of oversight and somebody aware of what's going on with them and kind of keeping track of things. I mean, there's a line in the movie where one of the political guys, one of them actually just asked, like, does anyone know where the Hulk and Thor are right now? Do you think, like, what would happen if I misplaced 2 nuclear warheads? I was like, like, all right, when you put it that way.
But then, like, if you think about it, Captain America was frozen during World War II. And what happened with a registry during World War II? So, ironically enough, Captain America and Magneto would be on the same
side on this one. Exactly. Well, and
fucking
it's funny,
wild.
Them being required to be overseen in some way. I think everybody could understand the need for that, but Captain America looked at the current governing body and was like, "Yeah, but not them. Like, no, thank you."
Which, like, I would be on Captain America's side, but
sense.
I'm Puerto Rican and Irish. The fact that I haven't tried to overthrow anything yet is wild.
Get on that. I mean, you're behind the ball here, really.
Like, it's just the way of my peoples.
Oh man, which is funny because I'm 100%, European Caucasian mutt, so I'm the one you were overthrowing, and isn't it funny how with a little bit of time we can all get along?
There you go. But like, so T'Challa to me makes sense solidly as mono white, and I can't see him as anything else because he is such a lawful good.
Exactly.
And white to me is lawful good.
Yep.
Like, he is angel energy to me.
100%. And I would love to see that card. He's
a savior to his people. That's it. He's a savior to his people. He's not just a leader.
That's it. That's
He's
it.
magic to them, and that's beautiful to me. So.
Yeah. Well, and the idea of being a superpowered being while also being the figurehead that inspires the masses, like, that's a cool dynamic.
That's beautiful.
It's lovely. Yeah, I really dig it. And
I truly loved his character too in the
goodness,
MCU.
yes.
And like, I already loved Black Panther before the MCU. But funny enough, I was introduced to the Black Panther through a love story between Black Panther and Storm.
Really?
They're both from Africa.
Okay, sure, yeah.
Now, she came from a world where she had no control over her powers and no knowledge of her powers, and ended up, like, killing everybody in her village by accident.
Well, damn. That sucks.
And, like, one of the things about the X-Men is so many of their stories start with them violently killing people because they didn't know they had powers, and when they happened, it was very unfortunate for whoever was around them.
Right, and so that actually is a really powerful backdrop for the stories about prejudice and segregation that the X-Men often carry. So the idea, could you imagine, like, being in that position where it's like
Stan Lee did admit, Stan Lee admitted it was inspired by civil rights in the United States at that time. 100% was inspired by what they were fighting for and what they were fighting through. And he made them the mutants fighting for their simple right to exist. And honestly, the amount of analogies of peoples throughout history that can, on the most basic level, understand that, I guess, emotion of just fighting to exist is wild. So
it's huge. And
that's why the X-Men became my favorite, though.
Well,
so
there's a reason that those stories have resonated with so many readers over the years, right? There's a reason that was the hot property that they had to, that Marvel had to sell in the 90s. Like, that was worth a ton. It really was. And it wasn't just because, man,
I watched
Wolverine's
every
cool,
one of those.
Like, that was part of it. But at the end of the day, those stories were universal in a very cool way. And it's funny, if Stan Lee had claimed that it wasn't based on civil rights, everybody would have called BS on that. Because
you'd be like, okay.
Like, all right, sure, Stan.
Sure.
Yeah, right, all right.
Well, God loves Stan. But, like, so
anyway,
I was thinking about, there's going to be Commander decks about it.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah.
I was thinking about how are they going to handle Commander decks? There are so many super popular characters. Like, yes, Iron Man could have his own, Captain America could have his own, but then who else would have their own? What would be the villain? Spider-Man's got to have one. The X-Men's got to have one. Like, there's too many really, really big things. So what I think might happen for some of them, at least, is some sort of group Commander decks.
Okay.
Could the Avengers themselves be a commander? Could they? Could the Defenders themselves be a commander? Are these things like a viable thought?
Totally.
How many partner commanders are we going to see?
Yeah, well, and I think they nailed it with they've been tinkering with the partner mechanic in a lot of different things, and the first time we really saw them step out of the boundaries was with the Secret Lair for Stranger Things, where they introduced Friends Forever, which I think the name was silly.
It's cute. I love it.
All right. But
it's very flavorful, though.
Totally. But the idea of, okay, here is a partner pool. You can mix and match them however you want with these, but keep Thrasios the hell out of this. Like,
yes.
I'm okay with that. Like, I think that makes a lot of sense. The idea that, like, if you were to mix and match this pool,
I like limited partners. Yeah, I do like limited partners.
Limited partners is neat, and you could easily do that in this case. So you could do, like, the Avengers Assemble, and that could be its own thing. And you can, all the Avengers, you mix and match them however the hell you want. They're all viable as partner commanders. Go crazy, and they'll have a bunch of hybrid mana between them all, so you can mix and match them comfortably. Same is true with the Doctor and the Companion. It was the other one that we saw, where you can mix and match those in all kinds of weird ways that make no sense.
I like that kind of idea of partner. I feel like confined to one thing is fun, but like confined to one creature, I don't love. And then arbitrarily is a fucking nightmare. Fucking nightmare.
Just general partner, that's just. I mean, there's a reason that those cards are, So yeah.
Like I'm doing the Salt Factory, and for the week of Valentine's Day, I'm doing Kedis and Partner of Choice, which means Mr. Doggo Dude is building another Rats deck. This will be the 4th fucking Rats deck he's played on my fucking channel. I told him he's not allowed to sign up for any more fights with Black. He's banned from pods that have Black in the color identity.
So, partner of choice meaning I can pick any legendary creature in the entire game and put Kedis in the command zone with them?
Any partner commander you can think of, you can put with Kedis, and I did it on purpose because it is the Salt Factory. And
That's gross.
It's Valentine's Day. Bring your partner.
Gross.
I'm so scared.
Yeah. My first thought is like some kind of Voltron commander. What's the dude's name? I don't know. For example, Ruhan. In the mix, like, I'm gonna randomly hit one of you, but then I'm gonna hit all of you. That's gross.
Just
Mimeoplasm
so
like, get gigantic
I don't
really fast.
I don't want that in the Marvel world. I don't want that.
Right, yeah.
Like, I want confined. Like, one of the criticisms about UB is it being released in everything, and a few people I've seen say that, like, why can't it be its own game? And like, because it's still Magic, and if there's no wide availability, then no one's selling the IP to them. But having mechanics that are kind of self-contained,
those games have existed.
That's great.
And like their own unique doing. Honestly, I really like Universe and Beyond from a very simple perspective, because at the end of the day, we have all these other, like, there are games for every property, and everybody's trying to make their own card game and get into the card game business.
And I don't want to play them all.
And at the end of the day, the mechanics of the game might end up totally sucking. And so the cards themselves are only valuable from a collector perspective. Yeah. Well, if they're only valuable from a collector perspective, they're not gonna continue making the game because they're not gonna sell, you know? And as a result, like, just because a poor game mechanic exists, it might kill the whole project. And trying to create a new card game is difficult. Magic is already here. The gameplay is rock solid. The core foundation is excellent. And it already has a massive built-in audience.
You'll
just piggyback on that, print your cards, go crazy. Yeah. And I think it makes a lot of sense. It seems like a win-win for everybody. So I think I really dig it. And it's the other thing that's really critical. I'm coming from a Magic player's perspective. The Universe and Beyond thing, when they first announced The Walking Dead, I hated that release and I thought it was so dumb. Because I was valuing the aesthetic of the game. We have jumped the shark so freaking hard on that front. It's not even funny. Magic as a aesthetic and as its own style of thing, that's a joke that doesn't exist anymore. Or it is its own isolated thing. And if you're playing standard, if you're playing modern for the most part, you're still kind of getting that flavor, kind of. And like, you can enjoy it there. If you're in Commander, or if you're in Legacy, or if you're in Vintage, freaking,
it's everywhere.
Going hog wild, it just is what it is now. And the reality is, the more I play
I'm guilty.
Oh, it's no judgment. It's all good. And I've gotten to a point where, like, if anything, I just like how complex some of the cards are. And, like, if you don't know the character, they seem to just kind of, like, not really make sense. Like, I've been in pods with Will from the Stranger Things Secret Lair, like, 2 or 3 times now. I cannot tell you what that card does. It has killed me.
That's all you know.
I've trusted that the pilot was doing it right. Because I've read it, and every time I'm just like, yep, that's the thing, and it's gone.
What does it say? Now I'm looking it up.
Yeah. But in any event, so that's the only complexity creep. That's its own thing. But more importantly, from the health of this game, Universe and Beyond introduced an onboarding point for new players, which is something that Magic desperately, desperately, desperately needs.
It really did. It's like losing, not gaining players.
Yeah, because I mean, there used to be Friday Night Magic. Standard was common. You know, like, there was this expectation that you could go to the pre-releases and all this jazz, and that still exists, but it's more for people who are already invested. Given how complex, could you imagine being a brand new player, going up for the first time, and going to a Lost Caverns of Ixalan pre-release, and opening a card with Battle Cry, followed by the Millennium Calendar, followed by, like, whatever the hell else? Like, no thank you. My immediate thought is going to be, oh, this game is too complicated for me. I don't want to play anymore. You know, I feel like starter decks and these kind of, like, casual events to encourage new players is something that we've been missing.
And I have to say, when I was a new player, I started on Arena, so I had it kind of spelled out for me, and I was fine. And it was in the middle of the fucking pandemic. Where was I going? So once we were able to start going out again, I had made a post on Twitter a year and a half into creating, a year into playing Magic, that I had never played Commander, and I was really interested in it, but I didn't know where to start. And some people said some stuff, and then fucking Dana Roach from EDH Rec DMs me and asks if I want to be on the channel.
Dang, yo.
First of all, how the fuck do you know who I am? Flattered. So now, with the EDH Rec guys, Matt Morgan from there, he lives in Kansas City. I've had dinner with him in person. We hung out in Vegas. He loves my boyfriend. Like,
that's awesome.
Very funny. But, so I immediately sat down with a friend who knew how to build Commander, and I was like, fucking help me. He's like, who do you want? And I'm like, Sir Conrad. He was like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Fine, we'll go for it. So we did it. It is still I played it on Tabletop Jocks in Vegas. I still have this deck. It just gets grosser and grosser and grosser. There's another void in there. We don't need to talk about it. It's ridiculous. But like, fuck, where was I going with this? Shit.
Onboarding process, new players.
Thank you.
Yep.
But for me, it wasn't that hard. Like, the deck building was difficult by the time I got to it. It wasn't a mechanic. Like, I hadn't really played them on Arena. So the first thing I did was start building Brawl decks on Arena.
Oh, there you go. Yep.
Which, again, good intro, but not everybody's going to do that. So my boyfriend has been watching my streams since we met a year and a half ago. He's watched almost every single one of them. He learned Magic by watching my streams. Let's be real at this point. So he started playing Arena to start to learn. Because he ends up feeling left out a lot of times at Magic events. And I feel bad because he doesn't fucking play. So, but he wants to be there for me. He wants to come along. He wants to be there. So he asked me if it would be okay if he could borrow my decks at events and I could teach him how to play. I'm like, I will teach you how to play, but you cannot borrow my decks. You will never make a friend. I will build you a deck. So he went through my legendaries. Yeah. He picked out Kahira, even though it's normally a companion. It's a very straightforward commander. Everything gets 1/1 vigilant, and it's a bunch of fun creatures. He loves dinosaurs. Let's go nuts. So he loves dinosaurs and kitties with knives. That's the whole deck. He's very happy.
Sounds good. Yep.
There's a Crater Hoof. There's a Moonshaker. There's a Cathars. Like, you played against it. It's fun. It's a fun deck.
Absolutely. It's big Selesnya stuff.
Yeah. It's a good. I think it has the classic win cons. The classic. Just have your Crater Hoof moment, baby. That's how
100%.
It's fun to learn that way.
That's it. I'm tired of the Crater Hoof moment because I've had hundreds of them. Get your Crater Hoof moment. Everybody needs to have that one moment. Absolutely.
Have it till you're sick of it, and then you can teach someone else. But like, when we were in Vegas, he had a great time playing with you and that pod. Yeah. However, we went to a party not that long ago, and it was with people we didn't really know. And I had a blast. I thoroughly enjoyed it. We got stuck in one shit ass game that would not end because somebody was playing an exile deck. So it was one of those, like, your card didn't last the turn and the life totals weren't changing for 45 minutes.
Sounds miserable.
Like, that's not a feel bad moment. If you're shutting down the board like that and no one can get anything, like, it's excessive interaction, please just end the game. Yes. This was my boyfriend's, like, 10th game of Commander.
Yeah.
So he's sitting there. He can't keep anything on the board, and the guy's board is getting so out of control, he's overwhelmed. Then we play another game, and one of them was a CEDH player who didn't think about slowing down when talking. It wasn't that the board was like, it wasn't that his plays were the problem. I knew we were going to lose, and I warned my boyfriend, I'm like, we're not winning. And I'm like, it's going to be a lot. He just boom, 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 boom. And my boyfriend ended up not having fun at the party.
Sure.
And feeling bad after because he felt like he was doing it wrong or just things like that. I'm like, baby, I don't know what's going on anyone's, but the second there's like more than 5 pieces on the board, I'm like, where are we? What year is it? I just start like zoning out. It's so bad. I'm not good at Commander. What can I say? But like,
it's not that you're not good at Commander. There is a table etiquette. And I think a lot of people don't understand it. And that's something that I think is very important, which is why, like, when I'm playing, I play most of my games these days over Spell Table. And when I do that, I will announce what the card is and read off what it does. I'm also a lot of time on people's streams, and so there's the kind of excuse of like, I know all of you know what this is, but for the audience who can't just hover the card and see it, this is what this does. And so, like, I always announce it.
I tried it too because it's just better.
The other thing that I do that I think is important, that I think a lot of people don't do because they get so hung up about the competitive advantage about what's going on. If somebody casts a piece of removal against a certain thing, and I have a good target, or if they ask, like, okay, what's I got this in hand, what should I do with it? I've recently gotten to the point where I start campaigning for them to hit my stuff. And I'm not, like, arguing for it specifically, but I just be open and honest about the face-up information they have. Threat. This is here. it does this. This is a very real threat, given the way that my deck is working. If you have an opportunity to remove this, you might want to do that. You know, and I'm not saying that it's worse than what you've got necessarily, but like I'm open and upfront about it. Like this is a thing.
But I am letting you know this is how I'm going to be a problem.
I mean, it kind of, it's like this is very critical. Like my commander wants, and I generally frame it with like what information is face up that you have access to. That if you spent a whole bunch of time and a whole bunch of frustration parsing, that you would get. And so I'm not like telling you what's in my hand. But it's like, if you want to interact with the board, this is a thing. You may want to interact with this. Anyway, I think that's important. Be open and upfront about the
I do it a little bit too, but I know people I play spell table games with also do it a lot too.
Yeah.
Which is nice, but I also feel like it might just be a creator thing because we're used to having to explain it because you can't see shit on spell table.
That is part of the deal, yes.
But like in actual... I've started doing it in games, and I've noticed when I do it, sometimes other people will follow suit. And now, especially if I play with my boyfriend, I am 100% reading it, and I will actually ask people if it's okay if I can grab the card, and I'll show him just to give him an idea of what it does.
Yeah.
Like, even if he forgets what it is, he's seen it.
Right.
He'll start to recognize them.
Absolutely. And I think that kind of thing is important. Be open and upfront about what's going on, because the table, like in Commander, it's easy to say, like, because the reason that I'm kind of harping on this, the reason I'm soapboxing is because you made the comment, oh, I'm bad at Commander. It's like, no, you're not. Like, the reality is the board states get cluttered. It becomes difficult to track no matter what.
That's why when people say Commander's the best way to learn, I'm like, no.
Not really, no.
No,
it really
isn't.
Not.
You have 3 board states to keep track of that are not yours. Are you insane?
And every card in the game, for the most part, is legal. And so, if I may tag something that I said an hour ago, because we're running long. You could play a Presence of the Master. I could have Einstein on my freaking board, and I'm expecting you to know what this is. That's not fair.
I've never seen this card.
Exactly, but it exists. Yeah. While it's in play, any new enchantments cast are countered. If you have an enchantment in your hand, you just don't get to play it. If I have this.
Why, Albert? Why?
Why, Albert? Come on, what are you doing? Oh no, Albert Einstein's a dick when it comes to enchantment players. Like, hey, nice synthesis you got there. Yeah. Anyway, but that's one of those things, like, it can drastically impact the game. And like, if I have that in play, like, if somebody says, oh, I cast a such and such, like, oh, I cast a Banishing Light, it's the spiky move in tournament play is to say, oh, that's counter because of my Presence of the Master.
Yeah.
And like, they just walked into it, they just made a mistake, right?
Yeah.
Whereas in casual play, reminding somebody, oh, actually, I have this. Do you want to like roll that back?
You want to roll it back?
Do you want to take that back? Would you rather do something else? And they're gonna say, oh yeah, absolutely, thank you. I forgot about that over there. And because there are 3 other board states at least, if not more. I've played 5-player pods. It gets freaking wild. And you get to that point where it's just you gotta be nice. That's the biggest thing. You gotta be nice.
Yeah, you have to be considerate and you have to slow down.
Yeah, 100%.
And honestly, if there's a new player, you don't need excessive interaction. You just don't. Let them play their deck. Just, unless they're a threat, unless they're legitimately a threat, just fuck off so they can learn how to put the cards on the board.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Just let them do the thing.
Like, and even like, I was far more problematic than my boyfriend, and I wasn't problematic at all. But I started taking the heat purposely because I could see he wasn't having fun, so I just started mouthing off.
There you go. Well, but it was, you then. Damn right.
It was totally friendly. It was a party of Magic players. It was completely friendly. But it got to the point where like the other guy in the group looks at him and was like, "Bro, end the game. We love you. End the game. I want cake."
Yeah, 100%. Like,
I'm hungry. End the game.
That's that's the thing. I have no patience for decks that just like lock you out and then we all sit there and look at each other. I hate that.
The only way out of this is to scoop. This is boring.
Yeah, that's not fun. And I understand. Like, I want to pull off this crazy ridiculous combo, and it's gonna take me like 9 turns to get there. I'm gonna need to run some sweepers in order to get there.
But like, it's been 2 hours and the life totals aren't changing. Enough.
That's enough. We're good. Yep.
You've exiled everybody's entire boards. The only thing left is fucking lands. And somebody was playing shrines and couldn't keep stuff on the board.
Yikes.
Wandering Emperor all over the place. Turn
Okay.
3 Wandering Emperor.
Yeah.
Proliferate out the ass. I was like, I hate it here.
Yeah, this sucks. This just sucks. Yeah.
I hate it here. And I've built a fucking mass exile deck. Now, granted, I'm saying this as I am currently trying to perfect a land destruction Merkle deck with a whole lot of exile as a sub-theme.
Huh.
Don't worry about it.
That sounds like a thing, all right.
Yeah. Now, granted, it's for the Salt Factory. I would never do this in a regular pod unless it was like my degenerate friends that like they all play CEDH. So they like to play really high power EDH decks that are always like real legitimate salt farms. Like people don't like to play against them. So we get to play it against each other and just commit war crimes and be heinous. And we're laughing our ass off the whole time. I abuse Pox. It's great. It's a great thing. So that kind of energy is like what I brought to the Salt Factory. And I'm like, what's a sillier thing? I want to play Merkle, but I don't want to play normal Merkle. I don't think it'll work, but I want to see if I could do it. So my entire goal is I have one of each color basic land. One. And then I have the dual snow color lands.
Okay.
Okay, because they all have basic land types. So technically I could tutor for them if needed. I won't need to. There are like 32 non-basic lands in here, most of which are man lands, destruction lands, sack lands, and just things that have like additional little things that you could do.
Ugh.
So, you know, every man land in those colors is in the deck with like one exception. Then I have spells to help me animate all of my lands into creatures. Then I have a spell that not only does my creatures, but everybody's lands. Natural Affinity.
Yep.
Turns all lands into 2/2 creatures. And then I have Armageddon, Cleansing. I have a few mass land destruction. So I will turn everybody's lands into creatures. It's all Merkle pod, so everyone's gonna have a ton of basics.
Yep.
I'm going to remove all their basics, and I'm going to turn all my they're not going to get removed. Everything's going to turn into enchantments, but because the basics don't have any activated ability text, they will not tap for mana.
Wait. Is that how that works?
As far as I know, yes.
I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure basics are treated as having the active.
Because they have no text to it. So from what I have been told, the ruling is it won't.
Do not. The new ones do not.
The new ones do not. Older ones do, but yeah. If anybody's playing the older ones,
I believe basics are considered as having that activated ability, which is why the Karn Lattice shuts them off.
Maybe I'll put that in there too then.
I don't believe you're gonna be able to kill their ability to tap for mana that way.
All right, well, still
I don't
funny.
think so. I hope not, because oh my god, that's.
This is the plan. We're gonna see if it works. However, I forgot to mention the other part of it.
But wait, there's more?
To ensure that I didn't fuck up what I'm saying, I put a fuck ton of things that just exile creatures as they enter the opponent's graveyard.
I mean, that also works, yeah.
So I have Leyline of the Void, Stone Eric. I have little shadow, whatever the fuck his name, Misery Shadow, little creature that nobody uses in black, but people should.
This is amazing too.
In standard, he's so annoying.
The 2-drop is insane.
Like,
yeah.
I use that for Exene Obliterator and Nushi Uldred. That's my standard deck. That's it. And just removal and like Froska. Like, bye.
What more do you need? Bam, right there.
I don't know why I'm so pixelated right
all
now.
good.
But yeah, so mass land destruction, Merkle with an exile sub-theme so that I get rid of all of my opponent's lands no matter what, and their ability to use them no matter what.
And you were giving me shit for using Door to Nothingness.
This is for a specific pod where we're not pulling punches and we're intentionally going. So why do you think Doggo's made 3 rat decks?
Because rats are dope. That's what.
He did Edgar Markov, Tasha, the Witch Queen, and not Hirobi, Yawgmoth, who worked the best with rats, I might add. Yawgmoth rats is brutal.
Okay.
I don't want to talk about.
That's incredible.
Yeah, there's a reason he's banned from any pod with black in the color identity from now.
That rules. But to be fair though, this is exactly. This is for a dedicated stream where the whole goal is let's get gross. And by the way, have you done a Yuriko pod yet?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Actually, funny. So it was my friend Silver Dreamer, who is a Lego creator on Twitch. He does Lego hobby stuff. He's phenomenal. He's great, and he's such a like chill, low key energy. And then I had Maltown on, who is just as salty and toxic as I am.
Nice.
So
okay.
The two of us, and then this super chill, like, it was so funny, but I ended up doing what I love to do and putting a Nexus and a Rooftop Storm in there.
Of course you did. Yeah.
Sally did not get to play it. Mal had exiled like the top 3 cards of my library. He got to play as many as he wanted. He saw the rooftop. He figured out what I was doing, and he exiled it to send a message, and he didn't play it.
I know, that was going to stay there.
Okay. No, it makes sense. Makes sense.
It.
So Sally didn't get to pull it off, but like, I also had a Shieldred Whispering one in there because she's got Forest Walk. I mean, she's got Swamp Walk.
Yeah.
And he was like, why did you do that? I'm like, Swamp Walk, motherfucker. Are you fucking kidding? You can't block that shit. It would have punched you in the face every time.
No, nobody's blocking this. This is great.
Nobody's blocking it. Nobody's blocking it. So just like shit like that, in these kinds of pods. Let's go. Full on.
The only reason I ask is because I have a Yuriko deck that was one of the earlier decks that I built. Because they're like, oh, this card is neat. I'll give it a try. And then I found out, like, oh, that's like the worst thing and no one's going to like you for doing this. Like, oh. Okay. And so I still have it. And I even update it as new cards come out. Like, and so I'm keeping it up to date. And I think it's like in a pretty good competitive spot. Most threatening Ornithopter you will ever see. And,
Ornithopter is more OP than it should be.
It is so gross in that deck. I love it.
It is the fucking MVP. That and like Winota. Good night.
Yeah. And so like these cards are, I don't know, that Yuriko deck is one that I love and I cannot bring myself to take it apart. But at the same time,
I will happily let you play it against me.
I never bring it out. Like, because you can't bring it out in Play Company. That's not a thing. No. You can just be out.
I'll tell you right now, if you bring it to Chicago, I will happily play it. I have Tiny Bones that I don't play against people because it was not intended to be kind. I just thought it was very funny to be super mean with something named Tiny Bones.
Tiny Bones is pretty rad.
And he's a fun little commander. I'm doing a Tiny Bones pod next year during Spooky Month.
Hell yeah.
Very excited for that. Oblivion Sorrow is going to be in it. She also has a Tiny Bone. She's a little Tiny Bones freak. Nice. And I also have my Sir Conrad deck. So the two of them are like truly unkind. They're not meant to be fun for anybody but me. My Conrad deck is barely fun for me. It's mill. It's mill and removal. Like, it has like 4 or 5 board wipes. I said before, it's got a Nether Void. Like, this is an oppressive deck. It is fucking you over left, right, and sideways. And Tiny Bones is just, that's a cute card. Too bad you couldn't hold on to it. Like, so I will happily play Yuriko against you.
Okay, cool.
Just to see what happens.
I need to bring it out from time to time because I have a couple of cards in it that are like, I think, fun, goofy tech that I'm very, very proud of. Not the best part, my favorite part about my Yuriko build, I'm very proud of the way that it works. The engine that is set up, I genuinely think is pretty darn strong. And it leverages a lot of bad cards. But what I do, I don't have a single effect that removes my hand size. There's no Reliquary Tower. There's no Spellbook, no Thought Vessel, none of that stuff. And that's very, very, very intentional because when Yuriko is triggering, I'm drawing a crap ton of cards, and a lot of them are these gigantic monsters like Draco. I have a Draco in that deck. I will never, ever, ever cast Draco. Or, what is it? The Shadow of Mortality is like the 15 cost thing. I'll never cast that, and it's never the point. And so what I do is I make a point of getting my hand too full and discarding all those fatties to hand size, and then using effects like Forever Young that take creatures out of my graveyard and put them on top of my library.
Yeah.
That gets out of hand. It gets dumb as hell, honestly. And it can, like, this card right here, Forever Young, in that deck, can create the Crater Hoof kill shot moment, like, if you're doing Eureka.
I never use it unless I need to use it. Like this, I actually need to put this back in Conrad because it's very funny.
You should, it's great.
It's not a creature-heavy deck, funny enough. It relies on yeeting everybody else's creatures into the graveyard, and frankly, I have a Mind Crank in there. Enough said.
What more do you need? Yeah. Anyway, but no, I'm proud of that kind of a build. I feel like it works out well, and it also gives me an opportunity to play my favorite terrible card. This card is beyond terrible. It's one of the worst cards that I've ever seen, ever, and I run it in what is easily my most competitive deck. Is truly beautiful, and that is Leashling.
Why is it so expensive? Why is it so expensive, Ham?
I don't know.
There's no reason.
The
price is what makes it shit to me.
Yes. So it's a 3/3 artifact creature golem for 6, and you can put a card from your hand on top of your library, and then return Leashling to your hand.
See, my first thought was Fibblethip.
Okay, you can do stuff with that. The other,
because you can cast them from your library and get like.
Yeah, there you go. If you have
so if you have them in your hand and you don't want them there, you can get them from your library next to right on top.
The other thing you can do with this that makes it really, really good is, again, in your Rico situations or any deck that cares about the top of your deck. You can put this ability on the stack, right? The cost is to take a card from your hand and put it on top of your deck. In response, before it resolves, you can activate it again and put another one on top. So if you're in a situation where you got a bunch of big fatties in your hand and you need them on top of your deck, you can load them all up, the Leashling bounces, and then you swing with all your ninjas, boom, game's over. So the fact that it costs 6 to put a 3/3 body online, that is doo-doo garbage. But again, in the right setup,
in the right deck,
you can.
And that's what I love about Commander.
That's why Commander's a beautiful thing.
It's like, I can't even stop doing a hard theme when I carry over to Standard, but even then, it ends up being successful for me. Like, when Food was in Standard, that was by far my most played deck. I didn't do well, but I didn't make it to do well. I made it super hard theme, which is why I ended up making a Gaiom deck later on, which is still not great because it's super hard on theme. I want to make another one that is not hard on theme and is just hard on murder because I feel like it could be. But, like, you know, you find that creativity with these wacky little cards.
Yeah. I dig it. I dig it.
Yeah. There's, you know.
Yeah. The food deck back in the day was no joke. That was,
was funny as hell. But then I made a Orzhov Vampire Commander when it was in Standard, and that was disgusting. It was disgusting. I won without ever attacking constantly. I never once attacked. It was just life drain, life drain, life. And this was before Asterion was out. This was before a lot of these bigger life drain creatures were out. This was right like when I started playing.
Well, and it's funny that you mentioned that because just today I built an Orzhov Aristocrats drain deck in Standard. And it's real good. Have you messed with Bartolome del Presidio yet?
No, I actually only played Ixalan for the first time yesterday.
Oh, sorry, I'm getting so. This card.
I pulled him in pre-release, and I didn't get to use him. He seems so fun. It's so simple. It's the artifact sack that's making me like.
Yeah, all those map tokens, like all the cards that are pooping out map tokens. You're like, it's decent, but am I going to use the map tokens? Yes, you are.
All the time. I like the map tokens.
I like them too, actually.
Yeah. I love tokens, but I love utility tokens. Like, I love artifact tokens, which I think is why I like Gaiom so much, because it's all treasure, clues, and food.
Right.
So to have things like maps be a thing that I can spam make now, big fan. Big fan.
No, it's rad.
Yeah, I love me a free sack outlet.
Free sack outlets, baby. Oh, they're the best. Like, honestly, and that's the thing. When I read this for the first time, it's like, all right, it's a 2/1 for 2. Sacrifice another creature or artifact. : I'm in. Like, I don't care what comes.
And like, I'm sorry, but we got Bartolome, Blood Artist, Vito. Good night.
That's it. And it's funny because a lot of people talk about how we don't have a good Blood Artist in Standard right now, and that's something that we're missing. To which I would like to point out, also in these same colors, Ellis Ilcor is really legal. Good. Unfortunately, legendary. That's a big knock against this effect. You want it in multiples, so that's a thing. And then there's also Vran, Executioner Thane, which has not seen any meaningful play because it only triggers once per turn. You dome them for 2, and you get the life gain, so okay, that's neat, but it only triggers once per turn. And that has always been kind of the thing that prevents this from really popping off.
Yeah.
But the reason that nowadays it's not that bad is because with Bart online, I'm going to sacrifice one thing during my turn. I'm going to get all the triggers, all the benefits. Great, I'm going to pass. On your turn, I'm going to sack this, like maybe it's a blocker.
Speed, there's no cost, you don't have to tap it. It's a little disgusting.
It's great.
It's a little disgusting.
Free sack outlets.
I got his alt art too.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Actually, you know what I pulled in pre-release?
What'd you get?
Galta.
You got a Galta?
I got a Galta. I keep telling my boyfriend, I'm like, I will literally build this for you if you want it. I will give this to you if you want it. Otherwise, I'm very happy to keep this. I don't have a deck for it yet, but I'm sure I will.
Oh, yeah. The new Galta is one of those cards where, as far as, again, it's just big. I'll find a place for it.
Like, honestly, this is the card that really might get me to build a second Gaiom build where it is punch and it is creature forward, and that it's just brutal and not themed. Themed. Like, this will be the deck to remove food chain in, not the one I have that's literally not the thing that's scary.
Nice.
I don't even have big. I have 2 big creatures in my Gaiom deck because the point is to get them big while they're already on the board, not to yeet them out big. Because they're eating and getting fat at the Hell's Kitchen. It literally is that deep in the theme. I have Ebony Fly in there because there's a fly in your soup.
What? Ebony
Fly and hot soup are in there.
Wow. I've never seen this card before. I don't know, it's for 2. It's a mana dork. You roll a d6. Become a creature. Okay.
Like, I'm sorry. The funniest thing I could think of is animating it and then putting hot soup on it because it just.
the flavor's there. It's there. Oh my goodness.
But yeah, I had to put this in there.
Yeah.
But just like, so I wouldn't use this in most decks. I do like it's an untapped 2-drop mana rock, which is, it's a tap 2-drop mana rock, but it becomes a little thingy. So like in a mid artifact deck, I would totally use this. I would never use this in a creature deck otherwise. I would never use this in something I wanted to be fast and punchy otherwise. Right. It's for flavor. Nothing against it. It could absolutely be fun as shit, and I could be wrong, but I don't go to it.
Honestly, 2 mana rocks are generally good. Like, they just are, right? Like, I run Mind Stone in a whole bunch of stuff.
I run Mind Stone in, like, everything.
Yeah, Mind Stone's, like, you're never mad to see it. Unless you're... But even if you're top decking late in the game, like, all right, I'll just pay 3 mana, like, play it out and just sack it. And
the first deck I didn't put Soul Ring or Mind Stone in is the Merkle deck that I made.
Yep.
But it's because, like, 15% of the mana cost in there, 15% of the deck is colorless.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So, but that's most of my lands. And I have a 3-color commander.
Sure.
I need color mana. I need it. So I had to take out all mana rocks that gave me colorless mana, which actually severely limited what I needed to do. And because it's a thick commander, I needed as many mana rocks that came out untapped as possible.
That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, this coming into play tapped is a little bit of a bummer, but honestly, I'm not
and I'm eliminating all my fucking lands. So
well, there you go. Yeah,
I have like 10 mana dorks and all colorless mana rocks to see what happens.
That rules. Cool. But
what up, Avacyn's Pilgrim for the first time ever?
Oh wow.
I never play Selesnya or Avacyn, so I never use it.
Okay. So Avacyn's Pilgrim is kind of a fun card. 1/1 for 1 in green. It taps for white. It's a throwback to one that I'm wondering if it's also in there. Do you happen to have Elves of Deep Shadow?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good.
I have the Elves of Deep Shadow, Avacyn's Pilgrim. I have one of the fucking 1-drop, not Llanowar Elves.
Like Fintorn Elves or...
Yeah, one of the other elves.
Or, yeah.
I just wanted to be different and not put Llanowar Elves in there. I'm like, there's no point in us only using this one spell. Why do we do it? There's literally 14 versions of this card.
Yeah, the best one is, in my opinion, my personal favorite, that is just the correct way to go. I need to find the OG. if you're gonna
And they have a
really
Birds of Paradise.
the hipster Llanowar elf.
Oh,
is
Findorn elves.
the Ice Age Findorn elves. That's where you gotta go.
Yep.
If you really want to just be that guy.
Love it.
Oh,
Love it. It should go replace mine now. But like, and then I have, Birds of Paradise, Ornithopter Paradise, the little fucking myrrh that you pay life, you tap it, pay life, and it'll give you mana.
Yeah, convert or whatever.
Whatever it is.
One,
but I have like a bajillion mana dorks.
Mm-hmm.
And then I legitimately have 18 enchantments in there. Like, we're not fucking around with the insanity. I have like 35 creatures. I'm like 15 over right now. I'm having such a... But yeah, so anyway, I digress. But
good.
Yeah, just...
We've been going for a minute here.
We have, and I do have to get ready for my D&D session.
So yes.
That I'm running on my stream.
So I shouldn't keep you, but this has been delightful. And, I'd like to keep going, but,
Yeah, no, we could talk for the next 6 hours, but
easy. And someday we should. But for now, yes. Were there any other thoughts that you had to kind of round things out? Yeah.
I think we should do another UB.
Yep. We'll
down. Figure out what this week.
What property are we going for?
Honestly, I know I'm sure you're not an expert in this, but I want to make a Sailor Moon one so badly. I'll have to figure that one out over time because I'll take it too seriously, and that'll take me days. I
do know absolutely nothing about Sailor Moon, but I can make a bunch of joke cards that are on theme, and there are plenty of properties that I know probably a little bit too much about. And so we can do Sailor Moon one week, and then another week we can do, we can do Sailor Moon one week, and I'll be a little out of source, and then we can do the Dark Crystal another week, and
I won't know shit.
And then, yeah, exactly. We'll take turns.
It'll be great. It'll be great. Yeah, I gotta figure out something to make a UB for. I feel like we should do a video game, a movie, or a book this time.
I'm down. Yep.
Let's rotate.
So anybody who is hanging out there in chat, feel free to throw in suggestions. Also, feel free to join our Discord server. We would love to see any suggestions in there.
We have a Dear Hot Soup channel for you to ask us questions and give us suggestions on stuff that we could chat about. It's fun.
Absolutely. Yes, because as you can see, the show is mostly just unhinged banter, and we want your feedback about what style of unhinged banter you're interested in, because boy howdy, we got it. We got the unhinged banter.
But yeah, So give us some UB ideas. There was someone who suggested Dark Souls / Elden Ring, but neither one of us have played it.
We don't really know that one at all.
So I'm going to avoid it.
We could do, I mean...
I'm about to open Steam.
Now I find myself thinking Baldur's Gate, because we both played that. It'd be
tough
to not
that exists! It exists!
It does exist. Yeah. But what would a Minskin Boo card be like?
What about Asterion? He seems interesting.
I'm trying to think if we could do twists on it, but yeah, you're right. That does totally already exist. It's not even, nope.
I don't know why I'm so laggy. This is stupid.
Yeah, it's all good. Yeah, all the more reason to give your poor bandwidth a break, because But in any event, so yeah, we're gonna do some universes. We're gonna keep doing the silly Universes Beyond, because that is an absolute delight.
Oh my god, I have an Among Us.
Among Us.
That would be hilarious.
That could be fun. Okay.
And short, so I can't get carried away.
There's only so much.
Somebody else suggested Darkest Dungeon. I actually have no idea what that is.
I'm familiar with Darkest Dungeon. I've never played it, but that would give me an excuse to do just that, and I'd be down to con. Yeah, it's a turn-based RPG with actually a really cool, like, Lovecraftian art style. It's really neat. Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah, it looks pretty dope. So,
all right, well, we'll figure it out.
We're not in yet, but stay tuned.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah, good shout. All right, but with that, I think we should probably bid everybody a very fond adieu. We're planning on being back next Thursday, assuming there isn't some early access thing that gets in the way. Darn. Wizards being supportive of its content creators and giving us a fun event to partake in. Doggone it. Why would they? Anyway. But I'm being stupid. Don't mind me. It's been a long day. But great day.
Be nice. We got passes.
Okay. I know, right? No. I love what Wizards is doing. The early access events are fantastic. And yeah, we did both manage to get the content creator passes for Chicago. Which
yes, we'll both be there for sure.
We will be there. So if you
I'm submitting for a panel, so everybody send good vibes for that panel to get accepted.
Well, and you also put out a call on Twitter for cards for a cube. Did you want to plug that for a little bit? for a moment.
Yeah, sure. So I started a Discord server that I'm hoping to turn into more of an actual group of humans called Darksteel Lotus. I am what you would consider California sober because I consume medical marijuana, but I'm sober. I've been sober for about 6 years. It'll be 6 years in December. And when I was in Vegas, the first time I had ever been to Vegas was a week into my sobriety, but I was working a convention. I was working at CES, which is a huge tech convention. It's the biggest convention yearly in Vegas. And it was so hectic. It's so chaotic because I was on one of the official broadcasters teams. I was the fucking lead producer. So it was just constant all day, every day. I had no time to drink. I had no time to even consider a relapse. It was so crazy. So it ended up being okay. Then I went back for MagicCon and I actively avoided being in the casinos and I actively avoided being at bars, but there's always LobbyCon, so it's easy to do. It's a bunch of fucking nerds in a hotel lobby and there's usually some people at the bar in it, but most people are spread out playing games. But I ended up going to a celebration for Tron is Bad. The first night I was in Vegas on Thursday and Tron celebrated 1,000 days sober, which is amazing. And I'm so fucking proud of my friend. But I went to his event and there was a bunch of people there. Cody from Jun Fun was there. Girl named Ron was there. It was real. Drew from Show and Tell. There was a bunch of us that came and just supported him. Southernmost DM. It was great. And then a few days later, I ended up on Tabletop Jocks with Malltown. And he ended up telling us that he was really newly sober. He had less than 60 days. And I couldn't help but think, what the fuck is he going through being here in goddamn Vegas? And I'm not saying it as a super pity thing. I just
But yeah,
that's not easy. It is not an easy thing to do. And you are a badass for being fucking strong enough to get through this and taking care of yourself and doing that's great. And he too was really at the LobbyCon. So I got to see him a bunch, which is why I ended up spending a bunch of time with him. But it occurred to me once I got home that Tron was drinking Shirley Temples to be able to interact with people at the bar. I was actively avoiding standing at the bar. And then there were actual representatives of the Watsy's marketing team at the bar, but I wasn't comfortable enough standing over there to be able to interact with them. There were creators I felt like I didn't want to sit next to them because they were all drinking. Not that they were behaving drunk. It was just the smell of liquor. That was a bit of an issue for me. And I'm fine with accommodating myself and walking away, taking a break. I have no issues in my sobriety right now. I'm feeling very stable, but not everybody is there. Right. And I started thinking about how many people actively avoid these situations because they don't like being around alcohol. They're sober or for whatever reason that they don't be around alcohol and how much they miss out on socially. How much we end up missing out on when it comes to networking and talking to other creators and being with people like ourselves. And you always feel like the odd man out. So when I got home, I decided to start Darksteel Lotus, and it's just a sober, zero-proof space. So there's a bunch of channels that are all resources about mental health and recovery. But the most active channels in this Discord are all of the non-alcoholic beverage channels. And yes, there's more than one. Coffee, boba tea, fucking seltzer, energy drinks.
I love that. Oh my goodness.
Mocktails. There's a whole thing. So it immediately started to gain traction. Immediately got members. Immediately got people talking. And I was like, I would like to have events. And people were like, do we have a venue? Where is it? When is it? I'm like, I have a Discord server.
Right.
So, sorry, all this context. So the cube I would like to run, I would like to do it at PAX Unplugged, first weekend in December, and at MC Chicago. I'm going to take over a corner of a LobbyCon, a lobby somewhere, not sure where yet. And it'll be an after-hours con event. I'm just going to try to construct a massive cube event where there'll be a bunch going at once. I am collecting enough cards to run 6 cubes at once, or at least that's the goal.
Holy cow.
Which means I need about 2,300 cards for this project and just as many sleeves. And the plan is to be able to set up this event, hopefully have an area that people are just want to do free play in. Also, I don't expect to have enough people for a fucking 6 cube fucking thing. I expect
Sure.
maybe 2, like at best. But I want to be prepared and want to be able to grow with it and not have to do this every time. So,
Right.
but I will be asking if you feel like it to throw a donation towards being able to host more events. I would like to be able to host like a legitimate fundraising event at some point, but I even need money to be able to host that. So,
Sure.
Money towards being able to buy sleeves for the cubes to keep running it. And it's literally, I'm not making money off of this. This is literally just simply a space that is an alternative to wherever people are going with alcohol, so that those of us who are not going to drink can party just as hard.
That rules. Well, and so I'm curious, actually, if I can just ask just for everybody out there.
Hell yeah.
I am not sober myself. I don't do drugs, but I do have a drink at the end of the day if I'm feeling it. Would I still be welcome at an event like this?
Oh yeah.
Even if, as long as I just don't bring booze with me.
It's like
okay.
the idea is that it's a zero proof space. So if you're not bringing, alcohol or snorting cocaine off a table, you're fine. Like, now that being said, snorting cocaine off of any other surface is also not acceptable.
Oh, dang it. Sorry. Oh, you got me with the loophole. Anyway.
Yeah, the point is just that it's a space no one is going to be taken by surprise by the smell of alcohol, either in the space or on if you've had some drinks, gum.
No, and I'm not even if I know, I'm not
going to tell you to leave if you've had a drink and you want to come in and not drink while you're there. I will ask you to leave if you're fucking drunk.
Of course, yeah. No. If I know I'm going to an event like that, then I'm more than happy to respect it and be clean and all that jazz. Absolutely, of course, that's a given.
And I'm willing to be banned from a hotel to get in someone's face to explain why them being blasted out of their mind isn't appropriate at a sober event.
Oh, 100%. No, it's cool. I was just wondering, how strict is that line?
Yeah, no, it's supposed to be inclusive. Even though I created it as a sober space, there's channels on the Discord simply for mental health check-ins, mental health resources, and I have everything from suicide ideation to eating disorder channels. There is a resource for as much as we could think of. I run it with a guy named Easy Mode Mike is one of my main mods. He is a trained mental health professional currently working in the field. And I actually went to school for art therapy, and I worked mostly with people with addiction and autism. So there's educated people involved in this, helping to run this. So, and I also ran events. I've run gaming events forever. Mm-hmm. So it's a very important little pet project for me. No, Birds of Paradise will probably be getting involved also. Better Days MTG, run by Hobbs Q and Tron is Bad. I'm talking to them about joining forces. So we might be able to have a triple group event. Not sure yet, but yeah. So keep an eye out for that. You can follow it on Twitter, Darksteel Lotus.
I love that. And
how to pick Darksteel. They're indestructible.
Absolutely. No, it's a beautiful thing, and honestly, any kind of community where you're celebrating healthy choices, and focusing on that, it's great. I'm a big fan. I think it's a lovely thing that you're doing there. And when you did when I saw the call out for cards, the thing that came to my mind is I have boxes upon boxes of bulk, and every time I look through that bulk, I find myself thinking, oh, this card is really neat. I wish I had a place for it. Oh, this card is really neat. I wish I had a place for it. Oh, this card's really neat. I wish I had a place for it. So I know I'm planning at some point in the next few weeks probably to go through my bulk, find all those cards, just set them all aside.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and there's going to be a box coming your way of those.
And I know that not everybody's going to want to ship. I do have people who are giving me stuff ahead of PAX, so that should be good. I don't think I'll be able to pull off the size of the pods that I want for PAX, only because it's in 2 weeks.
Well, and if you're trying to handcraft 6 cubes in 2 weeks, whoa,
it's a lot. Now, don't get me wrong, I could do it because I'm insane.
I know you can, but
yeah. The big one is going to be for Chicago, which makes sense. That's the Magic Con. That's where everybody's going to be. I have a bunch of people bringing me stuff, so I'm hoping between PAX and Chicago, I could get some stuff shipped.
Right.
And I'm going to work with people with shipping costs because it's going to be heavy. It's bulk. So obviously,
it is. Yep.
Message me. You can tag me on the Darksteel Lotus Discord, whatever.
Mm-hmm. That rules.
Yeah.
I dig it. Cool. Yeah, no, thank you for doing that. That's a really cool thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Felt like it was an area of inclusivity that wasn't really addressed. And not like we're intentionally leaving the sober people out, but because most people drink, that's just simply where their mind goes.
Sure, of course.
No fault, just happens.
Well, and after hours party at a con, like, it's reasonable to assume there will be...
There's gonna be booze.
There will be booze there, you know? And it's like, it just is what it is. Yep.
But I ended up talking to a lot of people at the LobbyCon who were like, I came here because I didn't want to be around the booze. And even though there was a bar and people were drinking at it, it was like so low key. So like, I'm exhausted from the day. I'm going to have a drink and then I'm going home.
Right, exactly. Yeah,
yeah. So like the vibe was different than the people who went out on the town in Vegas.
Right.
So I wanted an alternative for the people who weren't going on the town, but we're kind of bored at the LobbyCons. We're feeling left out.
So
let's make it weird.
Let's throw our own party with blackjack. Yeah. Probably not hookers, but anyway. All right. I mean, anyway.
There will be sex workers.
Well, okay, I suppose. Yeah. Anyway.
Sup?
Oh my God, yeah. No, welcome. Yeah, again, inclusivity. I'm all about it. In any event, thank you so much, everybody, for hanging out. Bruja, thank you so much. This is always a delight.
I love this show.
I know, right? It's so much fun.
Sorry I'm so pixelated. I don't know what the fuck's going on. I'm in a terrible universe right now.
There's something with the connection. And it might be the service that I use to capture your camera is also, it comes and goes. So
being iffy.
It's just being iffy sometimes. But in any event, all good. Thank you so much. And yeah, thank you, everybody at home. We appreciate you.
We will see you next week for episode 4.
We'll be here. Can't wait. All right. Later, everybody.